Chapter 789. After Zhang Tao left, Warlord took charge of Magic City. After Warlord took charge of Magic City, Jiang Chao also began to cultivate in MCMAU. This time, Warlord had obtained a heavenly golden lotus and 3 golden fruits from Fang Ping for him. These were all preparations for him to achieve rank 8. With Pudgy Jiang around, a lot of things were much easier. In the underground passageway, Warlord felt that he had been especially busy recently. He was busy forging 100 king coins and helping Fang Ping modify his rank 9 battle axe, turning it into a saber. Not only that, but MCMAU's 3 Origins martial artists often came to ask him questions. Warlord also knew these martial artists. They were resurrected martial artists who had been living in Star Town. Warlord was surprised that the 3 of them had entered rank 9 Origins so quickly. Before he was done, Fang Ping came over to curry favor with him. Seeing Fang Ping now, Warlord felt a headache coming on. This kid had a lot of things to do. He had to come and talk to him for trivial things. He was very busy, okay? However, this time, Fang Ping came to Warlord not for Magic City, but for his own matters. In the underground hall, Fang Ping was all smiles, bringing Pudgy Jiang along. Pudgy Jiang was a stepping stone. When they reached the underground hall, Fang Ping left Pudgy Jiang aside and went to play by himself. Ignoring the resentful look in Jiang Chao's eyes, Fang Ping sat down opposite Warlord and said respectfully, "Senior, Fang Ping is actually here to ask some questions about martial arts cultivation. You're experienced and knowledgeable. I think I'll learn a lot with just a few words of advice. Speak." Warlord produced 100 king coins while waiting for his questions. This kid had so many questions that he did not want to stay in Magic City anymore. Star Town was still quiet. First, about rank 8 breaking through to rank 9. Rank 9 is divided into weak rank 9 and Origins rank 9. In my opinion, there's no difference between weak rank 9 and rank 8. So, how is this distinction made? What's the difference between them? Warlord shook his head and said, "You can ask those rank 9s about these things. Most of them should know. Looks like you don't pay attention in class." After giving Fang Ping a blow, Warlord said the biggest difference between rank 9 and rank 8 is the understanding of Origins Tao. The gap between them was naturally in their comprehension of the quintessence Tao. A weak rank 9 was only relatively speaking. Rank 9 was actually a metamorphosis. There are tens of thousands of Daos in the world, but no one can say for sure how many martial paths there are. Everyone's path is different. The Warlord smiled and continued, "Let's talk about the Catacombs Lord. What Tao does the Lord cultivate? The Tao of the people. In fact, there were humans who walked this path as well. However, the myriad paths that each of them walked, although it was called the Myriad People Path, it was actually different. There were so many different martial arts paths. How should he proceed after reaching peak rank 8? The so-called 9th stage was actually a transformation of one's self through understanding. First of all, you have to know what path you want to walk. Once you have determined your path, you have to lay the foundation. The Tao of origin was formless and intangible. In truth, it was not a Tao that existed, but an unknown Tao. You have to walk on this road yourself. You have to build and repair it yourself. The Warlord continued, the so-called weak rank 9 and rank 9 of quintessence Tao are actually both rank 9. The difference is that the weak rank 9 is the kind that has just laid the foundation and hasn't even taken the first step. This is the difference between a rank 8 and a weak rank 9. When a martial artist has determined what path he wants to walk and has dug the first shovel, at this time, he has actually roughly determined the direction of his martial arts path. Of course, this is a general direction. what we call understanding the Tao of origin is actually taking the first step in the truest sense. When Fang Ping heard this, he generally understood what he meant. He said, in other words, the difference between a rank 8 and a weak rank 9 is actually in the foundation and confirmation of the path. And the difference between a weak rank 9 and a rank 9 of quintessence Tao is that one has not taken the first step, while the other has already taken the first step and started walking forward. You can understand it that way. Then what exactly is the Tao of origin? Fang Ping still could not understand. He frowned slightly and said, I'm already a rank 8 7th stage now. Logically speaking, at my level, many people have already achieved rank 9. But I actually don't feel any signs of rank 9 at all. The warlord was not surprised at all. He laughed and said, how long have you been in contact with martial arts? Do you really understand martial arts? Many geniuses are also stuck at this stage. Of course, the truth is, no one is as fast as you. You're really faster than everyone's imagination. More than 2 years, a rank 8 7th stage. For more than 2 years, you don't even have time to cultivate. Where would you have the time to think about these things? This thing about the Tao of origin is very difficult to explain to you. The warlord pondered for a while and said, from the perspective of the growth of strength, the Tao of origin is a power amplifier. However, this power amplifier is created by you. Different people create different amplifiers, and the effects are also different. As for the principle and structure of the amplifier, you don't understand it, so you can't create it. When you understand it, you can naturally create an amplifier that belongs to you. How difficult is it to nurture venomous insects from countless Tao and leave behind the strongest one? If we have the time, we would rather walk on a second Tao, 2 Tao, and walk on it together. It is much easier than what he did. Just like us, if we encounter 2 ferocious tiger cubs, we may cultivate them together, thinking that we will eventually cultivate 2 ferocious tigers. As for Zhang Tao, he will let the 2 tiger cubs fight, letting the strong devour the weak. He thinks that cultivating them this way will make them stronger. Fang Ping understood. Then he rubbed his chin and said, when you put it that way, I think that the minister's Tao is indeed very strong. Cultivating 2 tigers will consume a lot of resources. We can't concentrate on cultivating 1 ferocious tiger. However, we still have to look at the upper limit. If the upper limit is the same, then of course it is better to cultivate 2 tigers. In the end, 2 ferocious tigers will definitely be stronger than 1. It is hard to say whether this is good or bad. The warlord nodded. Just as he nodded, Fang Ping said, but the minister's mentality is so strong. I think that it will not be a problem for him to walk. Senior, what do you think? The warlord was speechless. Soon he shook his head and said, you don't understand. He looks strong, but that is built on the foundation of his true talent. If he did not walk on the Tao of coalescence, but the same Tao as the others, he might have already walked on 2 or even 3 Tao. The warlord sighed. Many people find it difficult to comprehend 1 Tao in their lifetime, but Zhang Tao, he comprehended the origin Tao. It was easy. If you have seen him attack, you can actually see a book. Fang Ping said quickly, I have seen it before. When he attacked, a crystal book appeared. Lofty ambition. The warlord sighed again. Words are actually the manifestation of a Tao. Take Heavenly King Zhen's Tao, for example. One of the Tao is suppress. The manifestation of my Tao is destroy. The Yang family's is kill. What does Zhang Tao want to do? Unification of Tao. Li Changxing's unification of Tao is to abandon other Tao and only walk on one. His unification of Tao is to truly devour thousands of Tao and integrate all Tao into his Tao of coalescence. When he creates a book, a few pages are just a few Tao. If one day his book becomes 10,000 pages. Then it will be unification of Tao. But how difficult is this Tao to walk? Actually, he has already comprehended a few Tao now. Of course, it is just the tip of the iceberg. He did not go deep, just a taste, which is what you call the weak rank, 9 Tao. Once he has a rough shape, he will integrate his Tao of coalescence. Fong Ping's eyes flickered. This Tao? I think it is quite suitable for me. Senior, how many Tao has the minister walked on now? I think he has 3, right? I'm not sure. If he doesn't go all out, who knows how many he has walked? Since you can't walk on it, then I'll walk on your behalf. I want to walk on the coalescence Tao too. Coalescence Tao? I'll first determine my own main Tao path, then I'll comprehend other Tao paths and integrate them into the trunk. 1 step a day, I'll walk longer than old Zhang in a few days. Fong Ping suddenly laughed, grinning from ear to ear. When that time came, he would also use the coalescence Tao to fight old Zhang. He flipped a few pages in his book. If he flipped hundreds or thousands of pages, would he break down? I don't necessarily need to use books. This is self-embodiment. I have to think about what I should use to embody it. Fong Ping was not thinking blindly. The current him had already reached rank 8-7 refinements. Logically speaking, rank 9 was close at hand. It was also time to think about rank 9. If the following 8 and 9 refinements were difficult to walk, he could comprehend the origin Tao and advance to rank 9 directly. It was a two-way choice. After roughly understanding the origin Tao, Fong Ping did not continue to ask. Soon, Fong Ping said, breaking through rank 9 from rank 8 is the first question. I still want to ask a few more questions. Secondly, how many rank 9 powerhouses are there in Sino Nation? I've seen some powerhouses guarding Mount Royal Sea before. They were all rank 9. There might also be rank 9 existences in some other boundaries. Senior, there are more than 48 rank 9s in Sino Nation. Can you tell me exactly how many there are? This is not a secret. Warlord laughed. It's normal for some people not to be on the list. After all, the list has only been out for a few years. Many people don't even show their faces. The list won't record them unless they appear in the outside world and are known by others. There are 48 people on the list now. In fact, in the Mount Royal Sea area, there are probably, Warlord calculated for a while, and said quickly there are still about 15 rank 9s guarding. Sino Nation has opened 24 catacombs passageways. A few of them are unguarded because the Paragon stays there for a long time. However, some Paragons don't stay there for a long time. Someone needs to keep an eye on them. There should be about 15 people. There's not much difference between the top and the bottom. I haven't been to some areas for a long time. I don't know the specific situation now. Also, there are 8 boundaries. You took the Chun families away. In Tianan, the Yang family is almost all dead. No humans have entered the Magic City catacombs. There's no one in the first grotto heaven either. It's the place guarded by the Li family's old geezer. There's no one from the Jiang family at Nanjiang that I'm guarding. In other words, there are still 4 boundaries that are being studied by the juniors of other families in Star City. I'm not sure exactly how many people there are. However, there are still 2 or 3 rank 9s in one area. If it were you, would you dare to put these people who have lost their country and are so powerful that they could take their heads at any time in front of your house? Therefore, when that time comes, even if we suffer heavy losses, even if we retreat to defend a region, we will still be surrounded and killed. Warlord laughed. This is good too. But don't say, although we haven't found a place to live, countries are still working together to create a final retreat. Maybe after a few years, you young people will really wander the universe. When that time comes, whether you live or die, will depend on your luck. Maybe after wandering for a few hundred years, you can also find a new place to live. At this realm, it's hard to die even after a few hundred years. Fang Ping chuckled. I'm not going to wander. Lock myself in a space capsule every day? If I live in a black box for a few hundred years, I'd rather stay. The people in the catacombs might not be able to find me. Fang Ping was done with his questions. When he was done talking, he said, Senior, I'm preparing to go to the Magic City catacombs this month. I'll have to trouble you to send me there. Sure. It just so happens that your divine weapon has been modified to, Warlord tossed a Changdao to Fang Ping, chuckling. Don't use a divine weapon like an ordinary weapon. Don't waste a rank 9 divine weapon. Even Polaris City doesn't have many of them. This divine weapon came from a giant crocodile. Its strength was not weak when it was alive. If it's used properly, the giant crocodile will also have the combat strength of a weak rank 9 at critical moments. Of course, it depends on your control of the divine weapon and the mentality you need to provide. A weak rank 9's combat strength is where the divine weapon comes in. At critical moments, use the divine weapon to block disasters, block people, besiege, escape. These are all great weapons. A weak rank 9 can also block powerhouses in the path of origin for a long time. Don't always treat a divine weapon like an alloy weapon. You can keep it as a pet. Fang Ping understood. He chuckled again. I know this. It's just that I've improved too quickly. I don't have much time to control these. After all, Senior, you know that it's only been 2 years, and I'm almost rank 9. The rank 7 and rank 8 divine weapons from before are of limited use to me now. Warlord was speechless for a moment. After a while, he said sullenly, All right, you can go back first. Don't come to me if there's nothing important. Right now, he suddenly had the urge to beat someone up. Chapter 790. Coming out from the underground hall, Fang Ping brought Pudgy Jiang along. As they walked, he asked, Senior, you don't have any special hobbies, do you? Jiang Chao was at a loss. Then, with a wretched expression, he whispered, I don't think so. He's been in Mount Royal Sea for hundreds of years, and he doesn't have much time to come out. This doesn't happen when he's back in Star Town. However, in Mount Royal Sea, I don't know if he went out to capture a few catacombs females. Fang Ping was dumbfounded. After waiting for a while, Fang Ping breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that he had not been hit. What was this damn fatty thinking? Am I talking about this? I was just asking if the War King had the habit of eavesdropping. This damned fatty actually said something like that. He didn't even know how to respond. However, Fatty did not get beaten up even after saying that. Fang Ping felt that Warlord probably did not have a habit of doing that, so he did not ask further. He coughed softly and asked, How's your cultivation recently? Not bad. The effects of the heavenly golden lotus are quite good. Is there any hope for rank 8? Rank 8. 1 heavenly golden lotus isn't enough for rank 8. Jiang Chao shook his head and said helplessly, If I eat all of the heavenly golden lotus, my mentality will probably reach 2000 hertz, and I'll be able to achieve middle stage rank 7. However, the effects of the heavenly golden lotus would not be that great. It would be difficult for him to reach the higher echelon of the heavenly golden lotus. At the very least, we need some better heavenly materials and earthly treasures. When you reach rank 8, you can quickly refine 5 or 6. Jiang Chao glanced at him and laughed dryly. Fang Ping, you're already a rank 8 7th refinement. Why are you still asking about this? As soon as Fang Ping asked, he knew that this guy had his eyes on him. Jiang Chao laughed dryly and said, I was just saying, how could it be that simple? What opportunity? What fortuitous encounter? If you don't want to say it, then forget it. Fang Ping said nonchalantly, I'm just asking casually. When you reach rank 8, I might even be at the peak. Maybe I can even help you. Jiang Chao looked at him suspiciously and didn't say anything for a while. As they walked, they exited the passageway and arrived at MCMAU. Only then did Jiang Chao say hesitantly, I don't know what kind of opportunity it is. My family's elder ancestor said that there's probably hope. Maybe it's related to domain. Fang Ping muttered. The lake of imperishable substances in the bounded zone can help people hone their golden bodies rapidly. However, the prerequisite for this was that he had sufficient mental strength. The imperishable substance could also increase one's spiritual power, but it was extremely slow. In that case, it wasn't just the matter of the indestructible substance. There had to be something else. In order for a person to go from barely rank 8 to 5 or 6 refinements of rank 8, it would require an increase of several thousand hertz of mentality. What kind of treasure could allow someone to do this? As Fang Ping walked, he muttered, I've eaten the fruit borne by the impasse before. The effect is not bad, but to say that it could increase a person's mental energy by several thousand hertz in one go, unless it was the only result of a desperate realm. It could only be formed once in one's life, and each time it would consume countless resources, and even one's own life force and strength. There shouldn't be any desperate realm demon plants in the domain, right? Could it be that it wasn't just the impasse demon plant, but there were other things that could do this? The domain has existed for countless years. It would not be strange for it to be able to do so. Fang Ping was still talking, but Jiang Chao was speechless. I don't even know what's going on, but your guess is so logical. Fang Ping ignored him and continued. Nanjiang's catacombs has always been a place where you've been guarding. And Nanjiang's catacombs. Fang Ping's expression suddenly changed, saying softly, Nanjiang's catacombs, 9 Southern Territory. North Lake's catacombs, 10 Southern Territory. Between North Lake's catacombs and Tiannan's catacombs is the void Mausoleum Grotto Heaven, and between North Lake's catacombs and Nanjiang's catacombs is mysterious Purple Cave Illumination, which is also Purple Cap Mountain, Demon Emperor, the area where that group of people attacked the catacombs 1,000 years ago. The border between North Lake's catacombs and Nanjiang's catacombs was Purple Cap Mountain. The Purple Cap Mountain was related to Unquestionable Sword and the battle 1,000 years ago. As for the Nanjiang catacombs that were king-guarded, this was the domain, which was actually Purple Cap Mountain. According to the ancient books, Purple Cap Mountain's ranking among the blessed grotto heaven was not considered high. There were still many domains today, and there was nothing special about mysterious Purple Cave Illumination. However, the key was that Purple Cap Mountain was related to the Demon Emperor Unquestionable Sword, a powerhouse who was suspected to have walked 3 great paths, who was suspected to have participated in the War of the Kings, in the Battlefield of the Kings, the battle that destroyed the sects 1,000 years ago, and the existence that ended a few eras. If it was related to him, then some things were worth paying attention to. Although the Demon Emperor had fallen, whether he was dead or resurrected, or like the 2 kings, finding a place to hibernate was hard to say. Was the Demon Emperor really dead? If he was dead, who killed him? If he was really killed, would the catacombs need to be so afraid of the Demon Emperor? Coincidentally, almost all of them are in the central region of the bounded domain. If there was such a passageway back then, don't tell me that people from the bounded domain had to travel thousands of miles to enter and exit Earth. Or perhaps the passageway that exists now was just a public passageway back then. After all, in the central region, it's relatively convenient to go to the bounded domain on both sides. In reality, there are still passageways that lead to the human world in the bounded domain. Huh. Jiang Chao scratched his head and said in surprise, "Yeah, what you said seems to make sense. If I open a door, of course I have to open a door at the front of my house. I have to run thousands of miles away to open a passageway, and then I have to walk thousands of miles every time I enter and exit. How tiring. I can just dig a hole at home and I can reach Earth. Why would I need to open a passageway in such a faraway place?" Fang Ping laughed. "I'm saying if these grotto heavens that exist in the real world are the bounded domain's branches on Earth, then you can go directly to the branches. Why do you have to make a detour? Maybe the Earth's branches are where their outer sect is located. Entering the inner sect from the outer sect is the style of ancient martial artists. That means that they are actually connected. So, if passageways exist, it's very normal for them to exist in these places." Fang Ping exhaled and said, "I rarely go to other places in the real world. Maybe I should really walk around and take a look. I think it's not just me. Others should have thought about this too. Did they not discover it? Or did they discover it but didn't open it?" After Fang Ping finished speaking, he did not wait for Jiang Chao to speak and continued, "Or they don't dare? After all, this passageway might lead directly to the bounded domain, and there might be living people in the bounded domain." Jiang Chao said sheepishly, "There's no need for you to think about this now, right?" Fang Ping laughed. "Is there no need? I think there's a need. If I can directly enter Magic City's bounded domain from the human world, then I can catch the other party off guard. Instead of being blocked by the other party and letting them have the geographical advantage. If MCMEU wants to counterattack the other party, then we can only force our way in through the passageway, but there are 18 rank, 9 powerhouses outside. If that's the case, if our people go out one by one, then we'll be surrounded. Even if we go out together, we still have to be careful. The moment we go out, the other party will join forces and attack us. If we're the slightest bit careless, then we'll die. Even if we don't die, if the other party has the upper hand, then it'll still be a big problem. You want to find another passageway?" Fang Ping laughed. "I want to look for it. The evil sect martial artists have been defeated. We won't be able to improve for a while. We can't just stay in school every day, can we? I think we should go to the catacombs. Go to Nanjiang catacombs. My hometown is in Nanjiang. Nanjiang catacombs is very close to my hometown. I'm already a middle stage rank 3. I'm already very strong in Nanjiang Martial Arts University. You guys are also rank 2 and 3 martial artists. Don't think that we're weak in MCMAU. We're very strong in other places. In my hometown, I can even be a commander. Yuan, call me president. How many times have I reminded you?" Fang Yuan's dissatisfied voice came. A young girl giggled. "All right, President Yuan. President Yuan, we can go, but you can't. Vice Chancellor Fang is very strict now. If he finds out that we went to the catacombs with you, we'll be expelled. You saw it yesterday, too. Many seniors were expelled. I heard it was Vice Chancellor Fang's order. The teachers in the school said that it's better to expel them. No one spoke up for them. I don't dare to go with you. You're just a coward." Fang Yuan said gloomily, "We're already rank 3 martial artists, but we're still treated like children. Cultivating in the school will take a while. How can we achieve rank for so easily? I've seen it on the internet. Outsiders say that MCMAU is very strong, but they're all vitality martial artists. I'm so angry. I'm not a vitality martial artist, but we're vitality martial artists. Nonsense. Vitality martial artists haven't killed people before. I've killed people. Okay. I've killed a lot of people. Blood flowed like rivers. It's not like you don't know that the last time I went on a mission, there were corpses everywhere. Yuan, you're still talking about this. Didn't instructor Bai say that you only killed 2 people and cried for a long time? Nonsense. A few girls started chattering noisily. Fang Ping glanced at Fang Yuan in the crowd, then looked at some rank 2 and 3 martial artists who had nothing to do. Most of them were rank 3. The rank 2 martial artists were now striving to achieve rank 3. After all, the 200 people expelled yesterday were all rank 2 martial artists, which made many people tremble in fear. However, there were many rank 3 martial artists in the school, more than 5,000 of them. So many rank 3 martial artists had nothing to do now. If they wanted to break through to middle rank, it would not be a problem for them to do so in a few days. More than 5,000 rank 3 martial artists staying in the school all the time is indeed a waste. Fang Ping thought to himself, perhaps these rank 3 martial artists should go to other catacombs to gain experience. Nowadays, the dangerous catacombs were not everywhere. The truly dangerous catacombs were Magic City, Capital City, Xishan, Xijiang, Beijiang. These catacombs had high-rank battles at every turn. It was not just 1 or 2, but dozens. If things went awry, a true king battle might even break out. However, not all 24 catacombs in Sino Nation were like this. There were only a few high-rank battles. Rank 9's dying was a common occurrence. Tianen and the Forbidden City are more suitable for them. Fang Ping also realized that he had neglected something. Blindly cultivating did not mean that one could continue to improve. Before rank 9, enlightenment was not popular, but some enlightenment was needed. Especially at rank 6, it was needed to realize the Sanjiao Gate. It was also needed to break through to rank 7. It was possible to blindly throw money at peak rank 5. However, if one could not realize the Sanjiao Gate and could not materialize it, it would be a waste no matter how much money was thrown at them. Not only that, there's also the Martial Arts University Championship. Fang Ping suddenly thought of something. According to the usual pattern, the Martial Arts University Championship should start soon. However, after the end of the second championship last year, the Martial Arts University rankings were fixed. This year, it was not as intense as last year. Until now, no one had mentioned it. The Martial Arts University Championship. If I talk about the competition for tens of billions of resources, now, it might not be able to pique people's interest. However, now that the Sino Nation evil sect martial artists have been killed, it's dangerous for these people to go to the catacombs. If they don't go, they won't have the chance to practice. The Martial Arts University Championship is actually not bad. Fang Ping had participated in 2 martial arts university championships. He had gained a lot from both of them. During the first championship, Fang Ping felt a lot. During the second championship, he had fought with Wang Jinyang and the others and gained a lot too. Maybe it's time to let these people participate. Fang Ping glanced at Fang Yuan. This sister of his liked to cause trouble. She did not like to stay in school and cultivate. It was a headache for him. He could not bear to go to the catacombs. If he did not go to the catacombs, this girl could not stay idle. Fine. I'll find something for you to do so that you don't cause trouble when I leave school. Who knows which catacombs you sneak off to? Fang Ping did not show himself. Very quickly, he disappeared on the spot. On the 5th of December, MCMAU communicated with the Education Ministry and came to a conclusion. On the morning of the 5th, the Education Ministry sent a letter. The 3rd Martial Arts University Championship was about to begin. This time, it was limited to martial artists below the middle ranks. This time, the participating schools did not receive some allocated resources like in the previous years. Instead, they received some quotas. MCMAU would organize some student exchanges. This time, MCMAU would provide 500 quotas for the exchange. Each school would be ranked according to the previous year's rules. The higher the ranking, the more quotas they would receive. They could send some people to MCMAU and receive the same treatment as MCMAU students. This was for the outside world. Internally, MCMAU's rules were that they must be number one, undeniably number one. Under Fang Ping's leadership, MCMAU had won 2 consecutive championships. Today, MCMAU had a strong army and strong horses. There was no reason for them to lose the first place. However, this time there were restrictions. Only those below the middle ranks could participate. However, against low-ranked martial artists, MCMAU martial artists really did not have an advantage. Nowadays, most of the low-ranked martial artists had forced their way up. Their speed was extremely fast. Other than a few people, most of them had almost zero combat experience. Among the 5,000 rank 3 martial artists, 80% were freshmen. As for the freshmen, they had not been in school for long. Almost all the new students had not participated in the big battle in November. After they entered school, it was only in November that a large-scale battle broke out. These people could be said to be vitality martial artists. The only thing that was slightly stronger than vitality martial artists was that they had learned combat techniques. Many vitality martial artists did not even learn combat techniques. They only cultivated their vitality. Rank 3 martial artists were not considered much in MCMAU. They were synonymous with new students. However, in other martial arts universities, although rank 3 martial artists were not rare, they were still elite students. These people did not have as many resources as MCMAU. In order to achieve rank 3, they could not achieve it in a short period of time. Moreover, the rank 3 martial artists that were selected were martial artists who had participated in many battles and had incomparable combat experience. Whether it was experience, these people had more than MCMAU's 3 lower ranks martial artists. It was not that easy for MCMAU to keep the first place. As for the school, Fang Ping was not too harsh on them. He only said one thing. If they lost, then the school's 500 places would not be given to others for nothing. 500 MCMAU students would go on an exchange. The so-called exchange was exile. Let these students go to other schools. When would they return to MCMAU? Think about it next year. If MCMAU won next year, these people would return to MCMAU or simply represent other schools to participate in the battle. If they won MCMAU, they would still return to MCMAU. Otherwise, he might as well stay in another school. As for which 500 people would go on an exchange, the places had not been decided. Naturally, they would know after they lost. When the news came out, the atmosphere in MCMAU suddenly became tense. Go to other schools to cultivate. MCMAU students were not fools. They knew the difference between MCMAU and other martial arts universities. In other martial arts universities, it was extraordinarily difficult for them to obtain a rank 3 vitality pill. Even if the price of pills kept dropping, the basic vitality pill's price was shockingly low. It was still 10,000 per pill. Compared to Fang Ping's original price, it was 10 times lower. However, rank 3 vitality pills were also expensive. Now that martial arts universities had a unified credit system, it was 10,000 per credit. Even so, a rank 3 vitality pill was worth 30 credits, which was 300,000. In reality, it was already frighteningly cheap. Fang Ping still remembered that when he exchanged for a rank 2 vitality pill, he had to pay 20 credits per pill. That was the time when 1 credit was worth 30,000. At that time, a rank 2 vitality pill was worth more than 600,000. As for a rank 3, it was worth 5 million. It was only now that the government, in order to promote the popularization of martial arts and in addition to the abundant resources now, had lowered the price by a large margin. It was not that they were unwilling to popularize martial arts, but that they could not. There was no other way. In the past, there were few entrances to the catacombs, and humans were weak. The resources they received were very little, and it was difficult to satisfy the cultivation needs of millions of martial artists. The high price was actually also to ensure that martial artists had enough resources to cultivate. Fang Ping had often argued with the two major companies at that time. He felt that the price was too high and the purchase price was too low. Now that he thought about it, there was actually no other way back then. The pill company had stockpiled a lot of pills. They had not used them before because they wanted to stock up. They would only distribute them when martial arts were popularized. Otherwise, according to everyone's previous consumption rate, if the price was low, there might not be any pills left. Popularizing martial arts would be a joke. However, even if the price was lowered, the vitality pills for rank 3 martial artists to cultivate were still 300,000 per pill. If rank 3 martial artists really wanted to cultivate freely, it was necessary to consume 1 pill every 3 days. In a month, that would be an expenditure of 3 million. And this was just regular cultivation. A rank 3 martial artists' regular cultivation for a year would be tens of millions. Not everyone was like Fang Ping and had the means to earn money. Based on their consumption in MCMAU, it would start at a few hundred million in a year. They were used to eating extravagant meals. If they were asked to nibble on cornbread for a day or two, it would be fine, but for a year, the 500 people who were sent away would want to die. Now that they were at the same rank as their classmates when they returned, they would still be rank 3. It was not surprising that the students who stayed in MCMAU had achieved rank 5. Considering this, who would not be worried? For a while, the news about the 3rd Martial Arts University Championship had spread among the 3 lower ranks of MCMAU martial artists. Choosing who to participate in the competition was also a big challenge. The fate of 500 students was in their hands. The pressure was not ordinary. Meanwhile, the outside world was also cheering excitedly. Go to MCMAU. MCMAU was now the holy land of cultivation. Not only that, the official announcement was not all. In private, there was reliable news that MCMAU would participate in the competition. Any team that defeated MCMAU would be able to obtain a batch of extra resources. This so-called batch, with MCMAU's generosity, was really not small. Defeating the MCMAU team would be able to obtain 50 caddies of rank 9 energy stones. In terms of caddies, it was not their gram. Even the lowest price in the market was more than 15 billion. There was still a price but no supply, and the price was only to defeat a few rank 3 martial artists. At that moment, the entire martial arts university was in an uproar. Defeat MCMAU. This sentence had also become the slogan of all martial arts universities. The more they won in the end, the greater the reward. This time's champion team, if it was not MCMAU, another champion team would be able to obtain 50 places to enter MCMAU. This could mean 50 rank 5 martial artists. This was a basic number. A year's time was enough for them to enter rank 5 in MCMAU. For those who were more talented and knew how to work hard, rank 6 might not be a problem. If MCMAU really wanted to give them the same treatment and give them some help when they reached rank 6, rank 7, it might not be impossible. This concerned everyone's future. Who wouldn't be excited? At this time, MCMAU's low-ranked martial artists were no longer idle. Each and every one of them was extremely nervous. According to the school, as long as they did not lose badly, then there would be 500 slots. What a miserable defeat. Perhaps it would not be just 500 slots. If it was too shameful, even 1,000 was possible. In any case, MCMU had a lot of people, close to 10,000 students. If they expelled 1,000 people for no reason, it would be a big deal. However, if they were to exchange 1,000 people, it would not be a big deal for each of the 100 martial arts universities to give 10 people to each of them. On the other hand, if MCMAU absorbed some of the elites from various martial arts universities, they would be stronger if they could stay. 9 Heavens, Divine Emperors. Chapter 791. In the office, Chen Yunxi said with admiration, "Fong Ping, the school is much better now that you're here. Low-ranked students are cultivating combat techniques and waiting for the selection of contestants. Middle-ranked martial artists are cultivating, while high-ranked martial artists are preparing for the big battle. This way, everyone in MCMAU is performing their duties. There's no more chaos or restlessness." Chen Yunxi had always thought that Fong Ping was the most powerful. Reality proved that it was true. A simple championship had solved a lot of problems. Fong Ping chuckled. "It's just SOO. I'm just going with the flow. Oh, right. I don't care if it's through the back door or something. Do something shady and let Fong Yuan participate." Chen Yunxi was all smiles. "Okay, are you going to let Fong Yuan step onto the stage officially?" Fong Ping looked at her in surprise. After a while, he coughed and said, "That I'll tell all the martial arts universities through some channels. Whoever defeats Fong Yuan will be rewarded with a caddy of energy stones, or resources of equal value, or something else. I'm telling this B*TCH that she's too weak. Catacombs martial artists kill without batting an eye. Even on the surface, they're still weak. Same-ranked martial artists can beat her like it's child's play. Let's see if she still has the face to mention going to the catacombs. This girl, I left her alone for a few days, and she's instigating her classmates to go to the catacombs with her. She doesn't want to live anymore." Chen Yunxi suddenly sympathized with Fong Yuan. "Your brother is too ruthless. There's an extra reward for defeating you. You're a middle stage rank 3 martial artist. You're considered weak if you go to the competition. Forget about the extra reward. You'll lose even without you. Now that you have it, I'm afraid you'll doubt your life if you lose. When the time comes, MCMU will do something shady and let her go first in every battle, losing every match. Thinking of this," Chen Yunxi said sympathetically, "isn't that too ruthless? Would she be able to withstand such a huge blow?" Fong Ping. Fong Yuan is only 16 years old after all. Fong Ping sighed. She can't even take this kind of defeat. Do you expect her to take on something even more difficult? When you participated in the championship, they didn't even give you a chance to fight. Big Lion said you're not suitable for the competition. Forget about the logistics. At that time, you didn't even know about the catacombs, but you made it. That's different. It's the same. Fong Ping chuckled. You don't have to worry about these things. In martial arts cultivation, it's better to suffer losses at the hands of your own people than at the hands of your enemies. At least our own people won't kill her. Fong Ping continued. I'm going to Capital City to visit the Vice-Chancellor in the next 2 days. I don't know what's going on. When I come back from Capital City, I'm going to the catacombs. Fong Ping paused for a moment and glanced at Chen Yunxi. He smiled again and said, Don't go into closed-door cultivation for the time being. Polish your realm properly. You want to reach rank 7 from Mentality, Vitality, Unity. It's not a good thing to rely on heaven and earth treasures to force your way up. Although you often go to the catacombs, you don't have much combat experience. At least, you haven't experienced many rank 6 battles. If I rashly control rank 7's power, it'll be troublesome if I lose control. I know. That's good. Fong Ping briefed Chen Yunxi and settled MCMAU's affairs. On the 6th of December, Fong Ping set off for capital city to check on Wu Quishan. Just as Fong Ping made his move, capital city, in a courtyard house, 3 desperation realms had arrived. They surrounded Wu Quishan, who was floating in the middle, frowning. What's his situation now? Nan Yunhua looked at him, for a while, frowning. Logically speaking, whether he can integrate the origin path or not, he should be awake by now. Otherwise, if there's a conflict, he should have died long ago. He's not dead, but he's not awake either. It's been almost 20 days. Li Jun crossed his arms and stared at Wu Quishan for a while. He shook his head and said, "I'm not sure. Maybe he's digesting Mysterious Jade, True King's Path." While they were talking, Zhang Tao kept staring at Wu Quishan. After staring for a long time, Zhang Tao started stroking his chin. After a while, he seemed to be deep in thought. The other 2 looked at him, waiting for him to continue. In the next moment, Zhang Tao said slowly, "I should grow a beard, the long kind, so people don't see me as a young man." Nan Yunhua and Li Jun's expressions were ugly. How could he still be in the mood to talk about this at a time like this? Zhang Tao didn't care about them. He chuckled and said, "It's nothing. This fellow is a little interesting. I told him to swallow Mysterious Jade's Tao, and now he really listened to me. But he didn't swallow it." Zhang Tao seemed to notice something. He smiled again and said, "It's really interesting. He seems to have wrapped Mysterious Jade's Tao outside of his own Tao." "What do you mean?" Li Jun didn't understand. Zhang Tao looked at him with disdain. He continued, "That is to say, he is using Mysterious Jade's Tao on the surface, but he is using Mysterious Jade's Tao to nourish his origin path. The outside is Mysterious Jade's origin path, but the inside is his own. I don't know if this is 1 Tao or 2 Tao." He took advantage of the time when his origin path was weak to fuse his origin path into it. "There's no conflict," Li Jun said in surprise. "Why isn't there a conflict in his origin path?" Under normal circumstances, this kind of external Tao was not comprehended by oneself and would conflict with one's origin path. Zhang Tao rubbed his chin again. After a long time, he said, "His origin path is a little special, boundless love." Zhang Tao laughed in spite of himself and said, "Maybe that's what it means. Inclusive origin path, protection, Mysterious Jade's origin path, also needs to be protected. That's why there isn't any conflict with him now. But this isn't good," Zhang Tao murmured. "In this case, once he wakes up, he might be in a desperate situation. It might not be a good thing. Mysterious Jade's Tao is too powerful, and his own Tao is too weak. Once he reaches the apex by relying on Mysterious Jade's origin path, even if he nourishes his own origin path, it will be difficult for him to reach the apex himself in the future." Li Jun nodded and said, "That's right. 1 Tao has already reached the apex. Wanting to achieve a 2nd Tao is really too difficult. It has to change." Thinking up to here, Zhang Tao's mental power fluctuated and said, "Little Wu, don't think about reaching the apex first. There's no hurry. If it's possible, let your origin path digest a part of Mysterious Jade's origin path. It's better to advance both at the same time. Like this, even if you don't have absolute combat strength, there won't be any restrictions. Instead, you will be able to walk far down both Taos. Afterwards, whether you reach the apex with 2 Taos or rely on your own Tao and finally absorb Mysterious Jade's Tao, it's up to you to choose." Wu Quishan didn't reply, but his aura began to change. At this time, Nan Yunhua suddenly said, Zhang Tao, you can even see the changes in his origin path. Feel it with your heart. Zhang Tao smiled. In addition, I've seen it many times, so I'm used to it. This sort of change in origin path, I can often feel it, so I can roughly guess what it is. As these words were spoken, the two of them were left speechless. Li Jun glanced at him and lightly said, "Enough nonsense. When will you give me the energy stones?" "Look at you," Zhang Tao sneered. "You haven't arrived yet, and I already sent someone to deliver them. It's just a ton. Why are you in such a hurry?" "Let's not talk about this for now." Zhang Tao avoided this topic. He thoughtfully said, before reaching the apex, "Isn't it a bit simpler to explore two Daos? You also know that after reaching the apex, one's Dao is too strong, and walking a second Dao is too difficult. If one Dao reaches 0, 99, and cannot reach the apex, then one can walk a second Dao and walk this Dao to 0, 99, then can one directly reach the apex of two Daos?" Li Jun said tiredly, "How could it be so simple? One Dao is already difficult to walk, let alone two. Walk two unreliable Daos together to reach the apex, or walk a single reliable Dao to reach the apex. Which do you think is easier? If you ask Zhang Weiyu to walk the second Dao now, can he walk it out? Even if he can, how long will it take? Rather than that, it is better to let him enter a hopeless situation now. That is the only benefit we can obtain. Don't think about those unreliable things." "Unreliable?" Zhang Tao unhappily said. "This is called unreliable? The martial path is to grow through exploration. How can this be called unreliable? If you say it's impossible, then Wu Quishan might be able to walk such a Dao. Of course, Xian Yu's Dao is external, so his future achievements are limited. But when it really comes to that time, he will also be stronger than the average apex." As he spoke, Zhang Tao looked at Li Jun and said, "How far have you walked your second great Dao?" Li Jun said coolly, "Aren't you very capable? See for yourself." "Can't be bothered to see," Zhang Tao said disapprovingly. "Even if you walked out 999 meters, that's also nothing, not worthy of my attention. What I'm thinking about now is if you crush this Dao and fuse it into your own sword Dao, will it make you stronger?" Li Jun frowned and said, "I'm not fooling around like you. The situation now is critical. If I walk two Daos, I'll be stronger, becoming an existence comparable to Life King's. On the other hand, if I crush this Dao, the result is that my sword Dao gains aren't great, then I'll drop Cultivation Realm again, no different from now. Then these 5 years of hard work will all be for naught. We don't have this kind of time to waste anymore." Crushing that Dao that had yet to reach the apex, perhaps it could make him stronger, or perhaps there would be no change, and it would hurt himself instead. If that was the case, the second Dao that he walked these few years would be wasted. But if the second Dao reached the apex, he would be a powerful apex to begin with. Perhaps he would become an existence like Life King's. Life King's had walked two great Daos, and it had been a very long time. He was a top-notch desperate realm expert, comparable to Life King's. Zhang Tao sighed lightly and said, "Comparable to Life King's is not enough. Although Life Kings aren't weak, being able to fight 1 against 3 is probably his limit. He can block 3 apex, but can he block 4? What about 5? Desperate realm experts didn't show any intrinsic changes, unable to produce a crushing effect. So what if there were 3 great Daos? Experts who walked 3 great Daos, even if their battle prowess reached 2-something points, dealing with 5 apex? 7? Or 9? Would he be able to block 10 of them? Not necessarily. If he could really kill the other party even when fighting 1 against 10, then Demon Emperor would have already won back then. Therefore, it's useless to be comparable to Life Kings. Let's not talk about whether there is anyone stronger than Life Kings. You are comparable to Life Kings, but you can barely block 3 true monarchs. In fact, there isn't much of an effect. Li Jun was speechless, and Nan Yunhua was even more helpless. She said, Zhang Tao, you are getting more and more arrogant by the day. Now that Life Kings are useless, what about you? You boast so much about yourself, but I have never seen you display your true strength. You can't even fight 1 against 2, and now you are looking down on Li Jun. You really know how to boast. What do you know? Zhang Tao sneered and said, I fought 1 against 5, including Maple Monarch and Life King, and I still beat them until they fled. You actually dare to question my strength? Li Jun didn't want to say anything, and Nan Yunhua didn't want to speak either. Continue boasting. It wasn't like everyone didn't know the situation. Life King didn't even make a move, and Maple Monarch and the others were afraid that he would join hands with Heavenly King Jin, so they prepared to leave. They didn't flee because of Zhang Tao. As they were talking, Zhang Tao looked to the south, smiling. That kid can't wait anymore. He's here. After a while, Li Jin said, just in time, let's go meet him and ask about the Magic City catacombs, what this kid is planning. MCMU still doesn't have a definite answer. Magic City catacombs still needs to be fought back. Come, let's go meet him together. The 3 paragons took it seriously and quickly sent the message. Half an hour later, Fang Ping met the 3 paragons in a hall, a rather formal occasion. Fang Ping glanced at it. It seemed to be a reception hall like those he usually saw on television, used to receive foreign guests or local officials. The place was in the education department. Other than the 3 paragons, there were some other people accompanying them. Greetings, 3 ministers. Fang Ping greeted them politely, then looked at Wang Qinghai, who was below Zhang Tao, smiling. Congratulations, Minister Wang, for advancing further. Wang Qinghai smiled bitterly. Don't congratulate me. Although I have broken through to rank 9, I may not be your opponent. It was embarrassing to say it, but this was the truth. He was only a weak rank 9. Zhang Tao said calmly, Qinghai's weak ability lies in the lack of a divine weapon. With a rank 9 divine weapon, he will be much stronger. His golden body honing is also average, advancing to rank 9 when he just reached the early stage of 6th refinement. His vitality is only 110,000 calories now, and he doesn't have the Origin Dao's enhancement, 110,000 cal. That's just 110,000 calories. The destructive power is limited when in battle. It depends on the foundation of vitality. Indeed, a weak rank 9 among the weak rank 9. Fang Ping smiled. I see. Minister Wang, MCMAU is still lacking a vice-chancellor. If Minister Wang is willing to go to MCMAU, all these are not a problem. Li Jun and Nan Yunhua could not help but want to laugh. Poaching the education department, didn't you, Zhang Tao, want to take advantage of them? Now, you have shot yourself in the foot. Unexpectedly, the next moment, Zhang Tao suddenly looked at Wang Qinghai, saying lightly, Wang Qinghai, you have been demoted. You will go to MCMAU to be the vice-chancellor. Also, you will bring 5,000 men regiments from the 38,000 Wuan military regiment to MCMThu. This is also in consideration of your many years of contributions to the education department. I'm letting you take all the strength you have. Pack up later and go back to MCMAU with Fang Ping. Fang Ping's face was blank. I just said it. You, this old shameless man, you actually threw him here? Not only did you throw Wang Qinghai, you even threw 5,000 people from the Wuan military regiment to MCMAU? Before he could speak, Wang Qinghai said helplessly with a sad face, All right, then I will pack up immediately. The deputy minister has become the vice-chancellor. Forget it, since Vice Chancellor Fong invited me. I will go. Minister, take care. Qinghai will take his leave first. Having said that, Wang Qinghai looked at Fong Ping and sighed. Vice Chancellor Fong, I will rely on Vice Chancellor Fong's support from now on. Going to MCMAU is good too. It is not easy to live under someone else's charity in the education department. I will pack up now. Remember to inform me when Vice Chancellor Fong leaves. Having said that, Wang Qinghai turned around and left without another word. As for what Fong Ping would say, he had just said it himself, inviting Wang Qinghai to be the Vice Chancellor. Reject now? Did Wang Qinghai not care about his reputation? He was a rank 9 powerhouse, the Deputy Minister of the Education Department, and he took good care of Fong Ping. If Fong Ping slapped him in the face in public, it would not just be his face, but his heart. His heart would be broken. Fong Ping, you are the one who went back on your words. Do you still have any integrity? This was a formal occasion. At some point, a camera had popped up beside them, pointing at Fong Ping. The corner of Fong Ping's mouth twitched. I give up. When it comes to being shameless, I really can't compare to old Zhang. He had to give up. Old Zhang had probably guessed what he would say, and was waiting for him. If he had mentioned what Wang Qinghai lacked on purpose, old Zhang would have known what Fong Ping was going to say and taken advantage of the situation. Now that he said he did not want it, what could Wang Qinghai do? The corner of Fong Ping's mouth twitched, and he sat down slowly. Minister, Wang demoted just like that. There is no need for a meeting to discuss it. Zhang Tao said indifferently, All right then, let's have a meeting to discuss it. Does anyone have any objections? Li Zhen and Nan Yunhua looked at each other, speechless. What should we say? No objections. All right then, it's approved. Zhang Tao's expression was nonchalant. Fong Ping was speechless. He said again, Minister Wang can go to MCMAU, but forget about the 5,000 Wuan army. After all, it's the minister's blood, sweat, and tears. That won't do. Zhang Tao said lightly, This is a demotion for no reason. No matter what, they have to give some compensation. As a rank 9 martial artist, he can't really waste his time. Leading 5,000 Wuan army is enough to guard one catacomb. Just nice. Even if MCMAU doesn't want them, he can still lead the Wuan army to do some serious work. Fong Ping took another deep breath, gritted his teeth, and said, All right, I have no objections. However, the Wuan army's funding needs the Ministry of Education. That's for sure. Zhang Tao smiled faintly. Every regiment will be allocated 100 million in financial resources every month. This is also the usual practice. If we calculate it this way, 5 regiments will be 500 million a month, 6 billion a year. Zhang Tao sighed. Then let's make it 6 billion. Although logically speaking, since it's not in the central government, it will be demoted, but now is not the time to be calculating these things. 6 billion a year. 5,000 martial artists. Fong Ping's expression changed again. In other words, a martial artist would only get 2 million a year? You must be kidding me. Beside him, Li Zhen coughed softly and said, Minister Zhang, don't forget that there are still some subsidies. You're talking about the basic salary. Right. I almost forgot. There's a lot of subsidies too. The subsidies are slightly higher than the basic salary. In a year, it's about 12 billion, double the basic salary. If that's the case, that's 18 billion a year from the Ministry of Finance. Nurturing martial artists really costs a lot. I didn't even calculate the accounts before. Zhang Tao was filled with emotion. Fong Ping looked indignant. Don't joke with me. 6 million a year for a martial artist? Currently, the official price of rank 9 energy stones was quite high. However, The martial arts universities had already started to lower it to 600,000 a gram. 6 grams of energy stones? A year? Only 1 gram in 2 months. Seeing Fang Ping's indignation, Zhang Tao said lightly, "This is the real standard. Fang Ping, I'm not kidding you. You don't have to worry about the Wuhan army. Just arrange a place for them to stay in MCMAU. Under normal circumstances, they're all in the catacombs." Fang Ping saw Li Jin nod slightly and frowned. Is the government that poor? One person only gets 6 grams a year. An army of 100,000 people, the highest level army too, only 1,200 caddies a year. 3 departments and 4 prefectures, 7 armies directly under them. That's about 200,000 people. 2,400 caddies a year? Zhang Tao said lightly. This is a direct army, but there are many armies everywhere. Now, the military department has started to recruit again. It's not a small number. They're recruiting 1 million. In addition to the original 1 million, it's 2 million troops. If we follow this standard, it'll be 24,000 caddies a year. 12 tons of rank, 9 energy stones. A year. Zhang Tao sighed. The government's energy stone reserve is now 60 tons. If converted into grade 9 energy stones, it will be equivalent to 60 tons of energy stones. Fang Ping, think about it. The government's reserve is only enough for the army to use for 5 years. However, other than the army, the martial arts universities and the houses of governors also need to allocate funds. After all, money and resources are different. Making money, we can make as much as we want, but the problem is that we don't have enough resources. According to the consumption of martial artists in the country and the annual allocation, 60 tons may seem like a lot, but with the current situation, we can spend it in 3 years. War may not be fruitful. We've already taken some of the mineral veins that can be taken away from the outer realm. The rest are hard to get. This is just the daily expenses. Once the war starts, the consumption will be even higher. War is a fight for resources. If the war is frequent, the resources will be depleted in 2 years at most. Zhang Tao laughed. That's why the number I've given is not fabricated, nor is it stingy. This is really the only way. It's not a lot. Actually, we've improved everyone's treatment recently. Otherwise, it would be even less in the past. There's no other way. With the situation like this, we have to use it sparingly. Otherwise, when a full-scale war comes, we can't fight and rob at the same time. Can we? That's too unreliable. We have to leave some for the future. No one knows what the future will be like. If we don't leave some strategic reserves, how can we continue fighting? Li Jin said lightly, Zhang Tao isn't lying. We don't have much reserves. This is the only way. Fang Ping glanced at them. Not bad. I just said one sentence, and they're waiting for me to say something. Fine, I won't say any more. 5,000 Wuhan soldiers. A year's salary is 60 caddies of energy stones. I finally understand. What's more, this was a top-notch troop. When I said that the school that defeated MCMAU would be rewarded with 100 caddies of energy stones, it's really a little too much. No wonder those schools were so excited. I've shown off too much of my wealth, so I've been targeted. Fang Ping sighed in his heart. He was too rich, so rich that he could rival a country. He had burned through 1/3 of the government's energy stone reserves this time. No wonder Zhang Tao was so angry that he almost vomited blood. Fang Ping did not reply. Don't look at me. I don't have any money now. It was all spent. Besides, even if I had the money, I wouldn't give it to you. We'll talk about it later. I'm here to see Wu Quishan, but in the end, the 3 great peaks are making such a scene, waiting for me here. What are they doing? Fang Ping felt helpless and complained for a while. Do you have to cry poor and act pitiful every time you see me? Chapter 792. Everyone did not say much about Wang Qinghai. MCMAU really needed support now. Although old Zhang had sold a portion of the Wuhan military along the way, this was also what MCMAU urgently needed. Fang Ping did not intend to refuse. After confirming the matter of the Wuhan military, Fang Ping quickly talked about the main topic of coming to capital city. Minister, how is the vice-chancellor's situation now? He's recovering well. Zhang Tao smiled faintly. It might be difficult to reach the peak, but if the recovery goes well, his strength will be much stronger than before. At this point, it's actually a good thing that he's not at the peak. How long will it take? It depends on the situation. It could happen any time. Fang Ping nodded slightly. Zhang Tao smiled again. Wu Quishan's rank, 9 divine weapons self-destructed. It recovered this time. Do you still have rank, 9 divine weapons? As soon as this was said, Li Shun could not help but cough softly. That divine weapons don't have to self-destruct every time. MCMAU's use of divine weapons was too costly. Li Changsheng self-destructed once. Wu Quishan self-destructed twice. These were all rank 9 divine weapons. Just these 2 alone had self-destructed 3 rank 9 divine weapons. Speaking of this, Fang Ping said, "This can't be helped. Divine weapons are not as valuable as lives. Self-destructing divine weapons to kill many rank 9s is still worth it." Having said that, a total of 10 rank 8 divine weapons appeared in Fang Ping's hands. Seeing him suddenly take out so many divine weapons, Zhang Tao subconsciously felt that something was wrong. As expected, the next moment, Fang Ping said, "It's like this. Guo Shengquan and the other 2 vice-chancellors are using rank 8 divine weapons now. I brought them along this time. My own rank 8 divine weapon Changdao was also eliminated. Also, I obtained 6 rank 8 divine weapons in the catacombs this time." Fang Ping sighed. Now, for rank 9s don't have rank 9 divine weapons. I'm thinking if I can synthesize some rank 9 divine weapons with rank 8 divine weapons. I still have 10 rank 8 divine weapons and some rank 7 divine weapons. Din Chun and the rest also need rank 8 divine weapons now. In short, MCMAU has a huge shortage of divine weapons. Coincidentally, I'm coming to Capital City this time. I want to solve everything at once. Or the government doesn't have rank 9 divine weapons. I can use other divine weapons in exchange. The 3 of them looked at each other. So rich. Currently, there were already 10 rank 8 divine weapons, and he actually wanted to fuse the rank 8 divine weapons to forge a rank 9 divine weapon. The instructors of MCMAU had just broken through, and Fang Ping had already started to help them prepare the divine weapons of their current ranks. Zhang Tao said calmly, "Doesn't Lu Polu have a 9th grade divine weapon? He's only at the 1st refinement, and hasn't even completed the 2nd refinement. Why don't we let him?" Fang Ping interrupted him directly, smiling. "Minister, do you think these rank 8 divine weapons can be exchanged for rank 9 divine weapons? Otherwise, I'll have to trouble the few of you to help fuse it. The 3 of you are the heads of the 3 departments and are very powerful. Coincidentally, all of you are here." Zhang Tao glanced at him with slight regret. When a grade 8 divine weapon was melded into a grade 9 divine weapon, it could not be considered a fine product. It was somewhat incomplete. He might as well give 10 divine weapons to 10 rank 8 martial artists. It was more cost-effective and cost-effective. However, if Fang Ping insisted on doing so, there was nothing he could say. After thinking for a while, he said, "If we fuse 10 rank 8 divine weapons, I'm afraid we won't be able to fuse 4 rank 9 divine weapons. 3 will be the limit, and we'll need to add some more materials." As he said that, 3 gigantic golden stakes suddenly appeared in front of Fang Ping. He said, "This is the main trunk of the giant sunflower in Monster Sunflower City. It's a rank 9 origin powerhouse, but its brain and heart cores are shattered. Even so, its branches are still extremely valuable. Minister, if we add this, will it work?" "Yes." Zhang Tao glanced at it and nodded. 10 rank, 8 divine weapons, plus the sunflower branch, should be enough to fuse into 3 rank, 9 divine weapons. Then I'll have to trouble the 3 ministers. 3 rank, 9 divine weapons were still not enough. Unless Fang Ping did not use them himself and gave them to Wu Quishan. 10 rank, 8 divine weapons were actually extremely valuable, close to 500 billion. A rank 9 divine weapon was estimated to be around 100 billion each. It was actually not worth it to fuse them. However, rank 9 demons were hard to kill, and Fang Ping had not encountered many of them. Old Man Li and the rest had killed a monster plant before, but nothing was left. In that case, they had no way of getting the monster plant's carcass. If that's the case, we're still missing 1. As for the other rank, 8 divine weapons, it's best if we keep 3. After he said that, Zhang Tao smiled faintly. If we keep 3, then the remaining 7, and this sunflower can be used to forge 2 relatively strong rank 9 divine weapons. Fang Ping nodded slightly and said, "Minister, does the government have rank 9 divine weapons?" Zhang Tao pondered for a moment, then said, "In the capital city catacombs, we killed a monster this time, and it was preserved quite well. It can be used to forge rank 9 divine weapons, but, Minister, just name your price." Zhang Tao glanced at him. What a boastful tone. 20 rank, 7 divine weapons in exchange. No problem. 40 rank, 7 divine weapons. Minister, how about giving me 2? Fang Ping had obtained slightly more than 40 rank, 7 divine weapons in the restricted area. This time, he gave out a few more. Now, Mentality Vitality Fusion powerhouses could also use divine weapons. Zhou Shiping and the other newly promoted rank, 7 martial artists had given out divine weapons before. With divine weapons in hand, he did not need to give them out anymore. 40 rank, 7 divine weapons in exchange for 2 rank, 9 divine weapons. Zhang Tao wanted to, but he was still missing 1. He did not have any stock of this stuff. Whenever he got it, he would distribute it immediately so that people could use it to increase their combat strength. After thinking for a while, Zhang Tao suddenly coughed and said, "Li Shun, get me a rank 9 divine weapon." "Oh, right, when you broke through that year, who did you give your rank 9 divine weapon to?" "You want it back now. MCMAU is going to war soon. You also use a sword." "Just right, give it to Wu Quishan. You've nurtured that divine weapon of yours for many years. It's just right for Wu Quishan to use." Li Shun was a little confused. "Mine? I gave mine to the Li family. Now you want me to take it back. Is this how you do things? How can I have the cheek to ask for it?" Although he had left Star Town a long time ago, he had cultivated since he was young. The Li family had supported him a lot. When he reached the impasse, the divine weapon he used contained some will and origin. It was considered a treasure. The Li family had helped him a lot. Naturally, he gave it to them. Now, Zhang Tao actually wanted him to ask for it back. Was he Li Zhen shameless? Would he still have the cheek to ask for help from the Li family in the future? Zhang Tao did not care about him. He laughed and said, "There are rank 9 divine weapons left in Star Town. It's no big deal if you take them back. Get them back as soon as possible." This time, Fang Ping also gave a lot of resources to the military department. 2,000 caddies of energy stones. Previously, he also gave some energy stones to the Fallen Star Army. The rank 9 divine weapon that the military department's Tianmu had was also given by Fang Ping. "Now that I need it, I want you to give me some. Is that okay?" Li Jun was speechless. After a while, he said, "Okay." Beside him, Nan Yunhua glanced at him, a little speechless. "Did you forget something?" Fang Ping also felt that Li Jun forgot something. "I'm using divine weapons to exchange. Not for nothing. In terms of value, 20 rank 7 divine weapons surpassed 1 rank 9 divine weapon. I'm not asking for it for nothing. You didn't even mention it. Did you forget, or did you not remember? Would Zhang Tao give it to him later? Forget it. This had nothing to do with him." Fang Ping felt that he had made a fair deal. He did not owe him a favor. 40 rank 7 divine weapons in exchange for 2 rank 9 divine weapons was actually a loss for him. Forget it. Old Zhang will at least give him some, right? Fang Ping did not care about this anymore. In this way, the divine weapons of the 4 rank 9 powerhouses were settled. The 3 myriad Dao unification divine weapons were also settled. Although he had spent all the divine weapons in his possession, it was still worth it. If a rank 9 powerhouse had an additional rank 9 divine weapon, even if it was used for self-destruction at a critical moment, it would still be of great use. Fang Ping was also very straightforward. He directly handed 7 rank 8 divine weapons and 40 rank 7 divine weapons, including the giant sunflower's trunk, to Zhang Tao. As for the remaining 3 rank 8 divine weapons, they would be left for Qin Zhenhua and the rest. After discussing this matter, Li Jun did not care about Zhang Tao anymore. He opened his mouth and said, "Fang Ping, what are your plans for MCMU's counterattack this time?" As he said that, he added, "Right now, the rank 9s that can be mobilized are only the 43 on the ranking list. Our absolute peak is not counted among them. Including some rank 9s in Polaris City, we can also mobilize them now. Other than the 4 from MCMAU and the other 23 catacombs rank 9s who are holding the fort, the Forbidden Catacombs also needs them. After all, there are still demons in there. There are still 16 rank 9s that can be mobilized. However, for these 16, we are preparing to arrange for 3 to 5 people in Xishan Catacombs. Shijiang Catacombs. I'm afraid we need more people," Li Jun said seriously. "In Shijiang Catacombs, in order to lure Zhang Weiyu in and kill him, they will mobilize a lot of people. Not to mention that there is a top-notch powerhouse in Origin Path among them. In this way, including Zhang Weiyu, we need to prepare at least 5 people. Therefore, the rank 9 martial artists who can really be transferred to Magic City can only be 5 at most. We still have to reserve a few rank 9 martial artists to support all sides at any time." Having said that, Li Jun continued, "On MCMAU's side, if Wu Quishan wakes up, that'll be 4 rank 9s. In addition to transferring 5 or so, I'm afraid you can only recruit 9 rank 9 martial artists. As for the 18 rank 9s we're facing, 1 against 2, there was still hope, but to kill or defeat him was practically impossible. However, there were variables in MCMAU. Li Changxin was also comparable to a top-notch rank 9, so Fang Ping could also treat him as a rank 9. Actually, it was 11 versus 18. Seeing that Fang Ping was about to speak, Zhang Tao suddenly said mildly, "Don't say you don't need it. This was no child's play. If you're willing to risk the lives of MCMAU's people, that's your business. However, the Battle of Demonic City concerns the overall situation, so I can't let you do as you please. Do you really expect to rely on MCMAU to counterattack? Did you really think that 18 rank 9 powerhouses on the other side were made of mud that you could break with a single poke? When we say that the Catacombs Outer Domain rank 9s are no good, that's based on the situation where they don't risk their lives. They have the advantage, so under normal circumstances, they're not willing to risk their lives. Once they risk their lives, how many rank 9 are there really weaklings? 18 rank 9s. Once they risk their lives with MCMThu's strength, you'll be wiped out in one battle. You can pick the 5 rank 9s yourself. However, some of them can't go. Do as you see fit. Fang Ping was silent for a while, then said, Guardian Wu, Commander Tianmu, Minister Wang, Senior Chen Yaozu, Senior Chen 7, these 5 are enough. When everyone heard the names he said, they were slightly surprised. Then they understood. Wu Chuan and Tianmu were from MCMAU, so naturally they would give their all. The Chen family's 2 rank 9s were saved by Fang Ping. It could be said that they owed Fang Ping their lives. As for Minister Wang, since he was at the right time and went to MCMEU at this time, then it was not strange that Fang Ping happened to pick him. Zhang Tao said slowly, just these 5 people? You have to know that Wang Qinghai has just broken through not long ago, and so has Tianmu. You can pick 2 more rank 9 martial artists who are slightly stronger. Fang Ping shook his head and said, no need. Guardian Wu and Senior Chen Yaozu are both top-notch rank 9 powerhouses. It's enough. If the Vice-Chancellor is awake, the 3 of them can fight 1 against 2. I'm talking about the Origin Path powerhouses. They can win. In addition to Instructor Li, those 7 Origin Path powerhouses, the 4 of us will have the absolute advantage. As for the remaining 11 rank 9s, Guo Shengxuan's 3 instructors and Senior Chen 7 are also Origin Path martial artists. If it's 1 against 2, it won't be a problem to kill them. Senior Tian and Minister Wang only need to block the remaining 3 rank 9s. Fang Ping smiled and said, in this way, although we can't defeat these people in a short time, it's more than enough for us to hold them back. 18 rank 9s are nothing to be afraid of. As for me, I can still spare my hands. As long as I kill those rank 7 and 8 martial artists quickly, kill all of them. After that, I can help the instructors. I can definitely kill a large number of rank 9 powerhouses. Fang Ping gritted his teeth and said, this time, I want to fight the catacombs. However, the 3 ministers also know that if too many rank 9s die, it may cause the true kings to be angry. When that happens, it will not be something that MCMAU can control. Therefore, in my opinion, the outer domain is not the key to MCMAU's counterattack. The key is still those true kings in Mount Imperial Sea. Fang Ping frowned slightly. After thinking for a while, he said, this time, I'm afraid that the 2 true kings will not be able to suppress them. It's also possible that they will enter the outer domain directly. After all, I'm not only thinking of killing these powerhouses, but also a large number of weak ones. Now, MCMAU has more than 4,000 middle-ranked martial artists. If we add the 5,000 people from Wuhan military, and about 1/3 of them are middle-ranked, then the number of middle-ranked martial artists will be close to 6,000. With 6,000 middle-ranked martial artists, as an army, we can directly sweep through the cities. This time, I want to directly wipe out Magic City catacombs. Even if we can't completely wipe them out, I don't want to see the existence of any catacomb cities 1,000 li in front of Hope City. Zhang Tao and the others looked at each other. Li Shun looked at Zhang Tao. The 2 of you discussed it, right? This kid wants to fight the catacombs. Are you worried that he can't lure the true kings to attack? Actually, they did not expect Fang Ping to prepare to fight the catacombs. They thought that this guy's goal this time was to counterattack and take back Hope City and Demon City. Now, Fang Ping did not even consider these things. He wanted to wipe out Magic City catacombs. The catacombs battle. Zhang Tao suddenly felt a headache coming on. This matter was a little troublesome. If they did this, it might be a little more serious than he expected. There were only so many outer domains. After wiping out the Forbidden Catacombs, they almost wiped out Tian'an Catacombs last time. Now, they wanted to directly wipe out Magic City Catacombs. How could those true kings not go crazy? Fong Ping saw that they were pondering and sighed. If the government feels that the pressure is too much, then don't fight the Catacombs battle. We can take back Hope City and Demon City and stand firm again. Zhang Tao sighed. Fighting the Catacombs battle might be more complicated. Fong Ping, the Catacombs battle is different from the Forbidden Catacombs and Tian'an. For those two catacombs, the Catacombs battle is not active, but passive. Both sides have reached an agreement. Life and death are fated. Actually, there are no surprises. This time, the counterattack will obviously not be negotiated. That is, humans will take the initiative to destroy the catacombs and provoke a war. If that's the case, I'm afraid the catacombs' true kings will not tolerate it. Fong Ping struggled. Then forget it. We'll try to kill as many people as possible to weaken 7 Southern Territories' strength. Zhang Tao hesitated. After a moment, he suddenly sighed. Forget it. You always feel that I don't support MCM with you enough. Then, this time, since you want to do this, then risk your life to accompany me. I'll gamble with the fate of Sino Nation. Zhang Tao's expression was solemn. In the next moment, he said solemnly, this is the first time humans took the initiative to launch such a battle. Now that the war is imminent, since the catacombs will fight sooner or later, then we'll fight with them. Fong Ping, if many true kings really enter the catacombs, then we'll fight to the end. Li Zhan, go and inform the 12 desperate realms in Star Town. This time we'll fight. Tell the other 5 holy lands that if the catacombs' true kings invade, this time it will be the final battle of humans. It will come sooner or later. Since the catacombs' true kings are unwilling to abide by the rules, it means that humans are in imminent danger. Let's fight. This time, global powerhouses get ready for war. If the other party dares to invade, we'll fight to the end, even if we die. Zhang Tao's tone was solemn. Fong Ping, on the other hand, was stunned. Is there a need for that? If it's really stressful, I'll just do it after some consideration. In the end, I didn't even say that I have to do this, but you're good. You want to inform the global powerhouses directly and get ready for a final battle. Minister, say no more. Zhang Tao was all smiles. He looked at Fong Ping and said kindly, everyone has to die. It's just a matter of time. Just do as you wish. It's just a battle. At our age, we've already gotten over it. Don't worry. If the catacombs' true kings dare to invade, then we'll fight to the end. This time, even if 30 to 50 true kings come, we won't give up on anyone. We'll fight to the last moment and give it our all. We won't hesitate. Zhang Tao's tone was firm. He shouted, inform all departments and armies to get ready for an all-out war. At most, a war between the two worlds will erupt. Minister, say no more. Zhang Tao interrupted Fong Ping again. He said in a low voice, it's nothing. If we die, we'll be the first to die. If we're all dead, we won't be able to protect you. But as long as we're not dead, the catacombs' true kings can forget about taking a step into the outland. We have our guts too. We've had enough of days like this. Since you, Fong Ping, aren't afraid of death, why should we be? We'll turn the world upside down. Fong Ping was dumbfounded. Was old Zhang too impulsive? Were they not still discussing it? You're about to erupt an all-out war between the two worlds. Was it necessary? If an all-out war were to erupt at this time, humans were not completely prepared. They did not have enough strength either. Was it really good? Minister, why don't we discuss it again? I think if it really leads to the outbreak of a war between the two worlds, then we won't fight on such a large scale. We'll just kill 3 to 5 rank 9s and take back Hope City and Devil City. That won't do. Zhang Tao shouted, "You want to avenge MCMAU. MCMAU is of one mind too. You want to wash away the humiliation. Sino Nation will definitely go all out and support you in this. If martial artists don't even dare to take revenge and do not kill when they can, wouldn't that be a grieving? The pinnacle is a grieving enough. How can we let the new generation be like us, controlled by others? If you want to do it, then do it. Fang Ping, go all out in this battle. Don't hold back. Kill as many as you can. Destroy the catacombs if you can. We'll bear all the consequences." Zhang Tao said it with a strong sense of righteousness and righteousness. Beside him, Li Zhen and Nan Yunhua looked at each other again. What should they say? This kid Fang Ping, what was he thinking now? Fang Ping was a little surprised. He was also surprised by Zhang Tao's determination. This person had always been afraid that he would cause big trouble. More than 10 true kings were hunting him previously. This made him feel that he had caused too much trouble. He thought that if he said that it might cause a war between the true kings, Zhang Tao would change his plan. Who knew, not only did he not refuse, but he also fully supported it. He even said that he would not hesitate to erupt an all-out war between the two worlds. Was it true? Could it be that old Zhang felt that he owed MCMAU before, and had thought it through this time to fully support MCMAU? But was it necessary? I didn't want to trigger a war between the two worlds at this time. Fang Ping was not stupid. If he could fight, then fight. If he could not fight, although it was frustrating, it was enough to kill some people and take back the Magic City catacombs. Minister, are you really going to fight even if the war between the two worlds breaks out? Of course. Zhang Tao said calmly. If you can fight, why not? You, Fang Ping, are wanted by the catacombs. The 108 territories want to kill you. Since they dare to do this, why can't you fight back? Humans are weak, but humans haven't knelt yet. We're still alive. We haven't reached the point of begging for our lives on our knees. If we don't fight, the catacombs will look down on us. At most, we'll die. Fang Ping wanted to shake his head. What was wrong with old Zhang? Fang Ping thought about it and looked at him suspiciously. After a while, he said, "Minister, what's your plan?" Zhang Tao's expression changed. He said seriously, "Plan? The plan is for humans to win. Do you think I'll give up the whole of MCMAU and the many rank 9 powerhouses? When the time comes, I'll allow you to surrender when the catacombs' true kings come. If we can't stop the true kings, you'll die without a doubt. When that time comes, you should surrender. I've said it before. Unless we die in battle at Mount Royal Sea, there will be no true kings in the other territories. This is the iron law." Fang Ping did not know what to say for a while. After a long while, Fang Ping said in a low voice, "I understand. Thank you for your support. Minister, you must win." Zhang Tao said earnestly, softly, "If you win, that's the best reward. Also, try to reduce the number of casualties. The reason we're guarding the first line of defense at Mount Royal Sea is to prevent humans from dying. We don't want you to die for real." Fang Ping nodded solemnly. He said seriously, "Absolutely not. I'm here in this battle. Only the catacombs' martial artists will die." "That's good." Zhang Tao laughed heartily. He did not care about the ultimate battle that might break out next. Fang Ping had an indescribable feeling. Was it right for me to blindly want to destroy the Magic City catacombs' martial artists? Others could tolerate it, but could MCMAU not? Fang Ping could not tolerate it. Why did he have to provoke a war between the two realms this time? Fang Ping's thoughts ran wild. Maybe he should restrain himself and stop the war after taking over Hope City and Demon City. 9 Heavens, Divine Emperor. When Fang Ping heard that a gigantic golden mass of imperishable substance had already appeared in his hand. Zhang Tao's eyes were almost dazzled. He wanted to swallow his saliva. What was going on with this kid? How many are there? 10,000 yuan. That's not all. At least 30,000 yuan of imperishable substance. This was too much. While Zhang Tao was deep in thought, Fang Ping suddenly said, "So the absolute peak is no longer needed? Forget it then. Minister, you must be careful. These imperishable substances just happen to be useful in MCMAU's battle. Just give them to the people of MCMAU when you return." Fang Ping looked regretful. "Since it's useless to Paragon, then I won't send you off. I'm leaving first." Zhang Tao's face stiffened. "Did you really think so, or did you do it on purpose? If you don't want to give it to me, then don't take it out." Fang Ping did not give him a chance to speak. He said immediately, "Then I'll go see the vice-chancellor. Minister, I'll leave first." After saying that, Fang Ping and Li Zhen bade farewell to each other and left quickly. After he left, the hall fell silent for a moment. Then Li Zhen sneered and said, "Idiot! That's what you get for acting up." Nan Yunyue also had a look of disdain on her face. "This is going to be fun, right? I won't send you off." "You don't want it." Zhang Tao glanced at the two of them and said lightly, "What do you know? I'm just thinking about a problem. Do you really think I care about that little bit of imperishable substance? Am I fighting for the imperishable substance?" Ha ha! The two of them sneered again. Imperishable substance or destructive force. This was a kind of power that would be used even in desperate situations. Origin Tao was not a combat energy. It was used for amplification. The weakest absolute peak had a basic vitality of 200,000 calories. Amplified by one-fold, the combat strength would be as high as 400,000 calories. Then, it would be twice as powerful as the absolute peak, which would be 800,000 calories. This was the weakest absolute peak. However, Origin Tao amplified vitality force. Destructive force, on the other hand, was not affected by Origin Tao. The destructive force of a desperate powerhouse was actually far less powerful than Fang Ping imagined. There was no such thing as the power of 1,000 origin destruction. 1 yuan of destructive force was equivalent to 5,000 calories vitality strength. 1,000 destructive force was equivalent to 5,000 calories vitality strength. In reality, a weak absolute peak's destructive force was about 200 yuan, exploding with 1,000,000 cal vitality strength. In other words, when a desperate peak used vitality force to fight, the weakest could reach the level of a normal rank 9 vitality strength of 800,000 calories. With destructive force, without the Origin Tao amplification, they could also have 1,000,000 cal vitality strength. This was an absolute peak. Zhang Tao and the others were slightly stronger, but the upper limit of their destructive force was far from the level of 1,000 yuan. Fang Ping took out a lump of imperishable substance that was about 30,000 yuan. Although the effect would be greatly reduced if used on an absolute peak, it was enough for them to use for a long time. They could recover quickly even if they were injured dozens of times. Yes, it's just that little bit of imperishable substance. You won't care. Nan Yunyue sneered, then frowned slightly. What's his situation? The imperishable substance is infinite, the kind that can't be used up. Last time in the Forbidden Catacombs, he used a lot of imperishable substance. Previously in the Skygate battle, he did the same. It seems that for MCMAU's counterattack this time, he prepared a lot of imperishable substance. But this thing doesn't come out of thin air. Zhang Tao, did you discover anything? Zhang Tao rubbed his chin, murmuring, "This is what I'm thinking about. Imperishable substance is produced by martial artists' cultivation. It won't appear out of thin air." Even if he's a resurrected martial artist, there's a limit to it. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility that he was really strong in his past life, storing a lot of imperishable substance and leaving it behind. Also, you also know about the domain lands. The so-called lake of eternal extinction in the domain lands is actually not much of a lake. If you really want to rob the lake of eternal extinction of a domain land, I'm afraid that it would only be about 200,000 yuan of imperishable substance, perhaps a little more. But I suspect that those lakes were provided by those rank 8 and above martial artists who gathered the entire sect's strength. In addition, there was no war in the sect back then, so they stored a lot of it. Also, these years, there might be people cultivating in the eternal lakes and being born. That's why they created so much imperishable substance. As for Fang Ping, his imperishable substance, if it's not from the boundaries, it's either stored in his past life, or what? Both of them were a little confused. Fang Ping really took out too much, and it was not just a little. Not to mention the 30,000 yuan just now. Zhang Tao knew more than both Nan Yunyue and Li Changsheng. Zhang Weiyu, Wu Chuan, Li Changsheng, these people all got a lot of imperishable substance. And MCMAU's 3 new rank 9s, they all got a lot of imperishable substance from Fang Ping. The last battle of Forbidden City, the Battle of Sky Gate, all in all, the imperishable substance that Fang Ping took out from the beginning to the end was probably more than 100,000 yuan. The lake of eternal extinction of a domain was roughly like this. Could it be that this kid had really robbed a domain's lake of eternity? Hearing both of their questions, Zhang Tao smiled faintly and said, or he has a way to convert some things into imperishable substance. Imperishable substance is actually a special product formed by the intersection of mentality, vitality, and golden body strength. Actually, the source is still vitality and mentality. If he can quickly convert his vitality and mentality, he can also produce a lot of imperishable substance. How is that possible? Li Jun frowned and said, even we are unable to do that. Are we? It's hard to say for him. Zhang Tao smiled. Li Jun's brows knit together once more as he said, unless the monarch realm is almost the same. We don't know exactly how strong monarch realm experts are, but they might possess some special abilities and methods. Don't tell me you're saying that Fang Ping is actually a reincarnated emperor? However, there had only been a limited number of monarch realm experts since the ancient times. We don't know much about the demon emperors in the catacombs here in the human world. Some of the history has been lost, but even if the humans produced monarch realm powerhouses, 3 to 5 of them would be the most they could produce. Could Fang Ping be the reincarnation of these people? Emperor, could it be that even the ancient experts are going to get involved? Li Jun solemnly said, in the new martial era, the wind and clouds gather. Some of the people who had already fallen also wanted to join in. If we are like this, what about the catacombs? Where was the demon emperor? Where was the demon emperor? Where were the human emperors in ancient times? The 2 kings had recovered, but what about the others? Was there anyone who wanted to revive after the battle at the king's battlefield? Where are the people from the domain? As Li Jun spoke, he said angrily, what are these people plotting? What happened back then? Leaving the scourge to the later generations, was it intentional or unintentional? Now that they have revived, why don't they come out? We can't see their figures, but let us guess, are these people really of the same mind as us? Maybe they don't care about the lives of humans at all. They only want what they think is important to them, including those living people who might exist in the domain. Why don't they show up? Are they really worried that we will kill them and take away their Tao? Li Jun suddenly felt a little angry, a little annoyed. He gritted his teeth and said, a group of powerhouses who think they can control all living beings. Dream on. The martial artists of the new martial era will never be pawns, nor will they be sacrifices. As some of the situation surfaced, Li Shen also felt that something was wrong. The two kings had revived. The old ghosts of the domain had revived. The people led by the demon emperor 1,000 years ago had revived. It was possible that the people from the king's battlefield were reviving, or perhaps they had already revived. Powerhouses after powerhouse, some appeared, some hid. No one told them anything. It was unknown whether it was because they couldn't speak or because they didn't care about the overall situation, so there was no need to tell them. Nan Yunyuek coldly smiled. They will regret this. In the end, this era is not their era. People who perished thousands of years apart had actually revived in the same era. If they said that this was not planned, who would believe them? It just so happens that the two worlds will be connected in these next few years. Perhaps they were waiting for this opportunity. 108 channels have opened. Is it because the channels exist? Or is it because the two worlds have completely fused together? Who can say for sure? These channels, are they really just channels? Perhaps they are some primers that will allow the two worlds to completely fuse together. Zhang Tao lightly said, perhaps. Two worlds fusing together. What will happen when the two worlds fuse together? Will the myriad daos of the heavens become longer, or is it something else? Could the strength of Earth not be able to withstand something? Perhaps when the two worlds fuse together, the Tao paths will be more perfect and we can walk further, achieve a boundary higher than the sovereign realm. As Zhang Tao said this, he suddenly laughed. Both of you, why are you talking about this out of nowhere? Let's talk about Fang Ping. This kid Fang Ping still has so much imperishable substance in his hands. We can't let him waste it. Find a chance. Both of them looked at him scornfully. Li Jin quickly said, stop talking nonsense. This time you got it. Share it with us. Otherwise, we'll expose you. Up to you. Zhang Tao's expression was indifferent. Expose? For MCMAU, I broke out in a pinnacle battle and fought to the death. That was real, not fake. If you expose me, what can you say about me? I can't be bothered with you. You even threaten me, what a joke. As for guessing Fang Ping's identity, they stopped guessing. Some things would eventually come to light. Second Wang led the remnants and fled to the wilderness. At this moment, some information recorded in some books in the catacombs surfaced in Zhang Tao's mind. Second Wang led only the remnants. Who crippled them? Godland sank. Was the sunken Godland not the Godland of today? The wilderness? Or could it be that the billions of square kilometers of catacombs was actually just a wilderness area? What happened back then? What was the origin of Second Wang? What was that battle during the Demon Emperor calendar? Did the people from the bounded zones appear before Second Wang, or after? One by one, doubts flashed in Zhang Tao's mind. Everyone ignored the martial artists of the neo-martial arts era. Even if Star Town was the same, during the neo-martial arts era, Sino Nation gave birth to 3 paragons. Li Jun even came from Star Town. Strictly speaking, since the neo-martial arts era until now, Sino Nation had only given birth to 2 paragons. 2 perilous realms who achieved paragons not too long ago, plus less than 100 rank 9s. Indeed, this kind of strength was indeed not worthy of attention. This kind of strength was not even as powerful as a bounded zone in the past. According to Fang Ping, Xuanda Grotto had 8 true god elders and 1 sect leader. One sect had 9 paragons. Perhaps the sect leader was even a paragon who had taken 2 paths. Sino Nation's 3 newly promoted paragons were currently single-path paragons. No matter how strong they were, perhaps in the eyes of those people, they were only comparable to a powerhouse who had taken 2 paths. But back then, how many bounded zones were there? How many paragons of two paths were there? What was this bit of strength in the neo-martial arts era? The martial artists of the neo-martial arts era have been ignored. Ignored. Even the catacombs are the same. They only care about Heavenly King subduing and Devil Emperor. Zhang Tao sneered in his heart. Maybe in your eyes, the neo-martial arts era is a joke. Don't forget, now is the neo-martial arts era. Ignoring the martial artists and powerhouses born in this era, it was hard to say who would have the last laugh. Back then in the North Lake catacombs, who was the one who gave me the monster plant? King Qian? Heavenly King subduing? Devil Emperor? Zhang Tao thought for a while. A hint of a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Was it really for me? What rank was I at that time? Why did they give this to me? Or could it be that back then, those people felt that I was very talented and would become the leader of the neo-martial arts era? If that's the case, then I really admire them. Maybe I was too dazzling when I was young, so someone wanted to invest in me. At this moment, Zhang Tao thought of Fang Ping. Someone was investing in him too. Warlord was investing in him. That mysterious person from Xuanda Grotto was investing in him. Even he was investing in him. In the future, maybe more people would invest in him. What these people wanted to do, perhaps he would find out soon. It's a pity that you've calculated everything, but you've forgotten that we're the masters of this era. Everything that's old and rotten should be eliminated. Go where you want to go. Go where you want to be unknown. If you want to stir up trouble in the neo-martial arts era, you'll have to see if we agree. Zhang Tao looked into the distance, a smile on his face. In 3 years at most, some things would come to light. At that time, some of the people who had been hiding would come to the surface. Let's wait and see. Zhang Tao murmured. He turned his head to look at Fang Ping, who had already gone to look for Wu Quishan. This kid, would he be able to stand on the stage when the time came? Are you on those people's side, or on the neo-martial arts era's side? It's time for the neo-martial arts era to end. At the same time, Fang Ping looked at Wu Quishan, who was still unconscious, and said with a smile, Vice Chancellor, it's time for us to start the MCWU era. These leaders now are all old. All of them are not satisfied with their old age and are fighting with me. They even want to fight to the death. They're willing to sacrifice everything for our MCW. It'll be weird if we believe them. When you're at the pinnacle and I'm at the pinnacle, I'll pull Old Wang and the rest along and Old Man Li, and we'll start a new era. In the neo-martial arts era, the 3 ministers have already achieved pinnacle. They should be satisfied. After that, it'll be the era of us young people. The heavy responsibility of saving humanity will fall on our shoulders. Look, it's been almost 100 years. How much has their strength improved? There were 33 rank 9s in the previous ranking list. How embarrassing. How many pinnacles are there? Give me a long time, close to 100 years, and I'll be able to build a rank 9 army. I'm afraid there'll be more pinnacles than Star City. Vice Chancellor, wake up soon. If you don't, I won't bring you along this time. Also, if you don't wake up soon, these people will keep staring at our MCW's good stuff. After all, I'm too young. If I fight with these old foxes, it's normal to lose, but if I win, they'll shamelessly use age and martial arts to suppress me. Old Manly doesn't care, so he's just a thug. After all, Instructor Gua and the other 2 are resurrected martial artists. They did not grow up in MCW all the time, so it's not good to ask for too much. The others are the same. Those who don't care, or their strength is too weak. This MCW still needs you and me to hold it together. Vice Chancellor, Fang Ping nagged for a while and smiled. Vice-Chancellor, then I'll go back first. Wake up as soon as possible. MCW's counterattack will either be at the end of this month or the beginning of next month. Dean Huang is dead, and hundreds of instructors and students are dead. Don't you want revenge? Also, your wife, my instructor, was almost beaten to death. Just a little bit more. If I go a little later, I'll be dead. Look at you. In this life, you couldn't even protect a single person you wanted to protect. You wanted to protect your daughter, but she died. You wanted to protect the old vice-chancellor, but she died. Brothers, students, friends, almost all of them are dead. Now, my wife almost died. Tell me, you're a rank 9, you're a snake king, you're not even as good as me. Fang Ping taunted him for a while and smiled. Anyway, I've explained the situation to you. If you don't wake up and something happens to the instructor, that's also your responsibility. Who asked you to not wake up? After saying that, Fang Ping turned around and left. Behind him, Wu Quishan's fingers trembled slightly. Fang Ping turned around and swept a glance at him. He chuckled. I know you can hear me, so I'm just saying it for you to hear. Anyway, I'm serious. It's a must for the instructor to join the battle this time. MCMAU's high-ranked grandmasters have to join the battle too. This is also a must. When the battle starts, God knows how many people will die. There's not much time left for us. That's it. Fang Ping did not wait any longer. He left quickly. This trip to Capital City this time was not without gains. The gains were not small. At the very least, he knew what he should do next. No matter what old Zhang's plan was, there was someone on the true king's side, so he could relax a lot. If Wu Quishan could not join the battle, Fang Ping was prepared to find another rank 9 to help. If there were less than 10 rank 9s, without a top-notch powerhouse like Zhang Weiyu, the catacombs might not send out reinforcements at the beginning. Fang Ping firmly believed that he could win. However, there were also Pyrrhic victories and complete victories. He did not want anyone to die this time. If that was the case, then there would be a lot of work to be done. This included the provision of various equipment, the supply of imperishable substances, as well as those rank 7 and 8 martial artists that he needed to take care of, so that the overall battle situation would not be affected. Fighting a war is burning money. I can still afford it. After conquering the Magic City catacombs, the money that was burned can almost be recovered. As for the Jiao, is it still alive? Fang Ping thought of the Jiao. He did not know if it was still alive. However, if he could not find the Jiao, he could try to find other demons. There were a lot of fools in the demon race. They were easy to fool. Back then, he had fooled a group of demons in the bounded boundaries and left Feng Zhouqing behind. As long as he manipulated it, well, there was no demon that he could not fool. Just as Fang Ping was thinking about these things. Magic City catacombs, the bounded boundaries. A golden bright monster sneezed. It shook its big head, its big eyes revealing a hint of doubt. What's wrong now? I'm a peak rank 8 monster. Why am I sneezing a little too much recently? Did the Huai King want to kill me again? The Jiao's eyes instantly turned fierce. It would not be so easy to kill me. I'm not done with him. Then, the Jiao's big face showed a hint of disappointment. It was a pity that it could not defeat the Huai King. Forget it. It would continue to hide here. Although the demons here were stupid, it was precisely because of their stupidity that it could survive here. Forget it. At the same time, Shishan Catacombs. In the Xuanda Grotto heaven, a few monsters were in a terrible state. Each of them had a sorrowful look in their eyes. They could not go on like this. This old pervert tortured them every day. They could not take it anymore. If they had known earlier, they would not have coveted a better cultivation environment. They were bewitched by that human and entered the inner circle. Here, they still had to plow the fields. There was no justice in this world. They were demons, the extremely powerful demons. In the outer circle of the bounded boundaries, they were the regional kings, the leaders of their clans. They did not plow the fields. P.S. There were 2 updates today. One more update is missing. The basic update is missing 4 updates. There is too much noise. Jiuqian Divine Emperor. Chapter 794. Fang Ping had no idea how Jiao and the other demons were faring. On December 7th, Fang Ping returned to MCMAU. This time, Fang Ping was not in a hurry to go to the catacombs. He had just broken through to rank 7th level and had no time to rest these days. After resting for a few days in MCMAU, Fang Ping was ready to depart for the Magic City catacombs. December 12th. The weather gradually turned cold. The cold wind howled in the air. Fang Ping, Warlord, and Jiang Chao rode the Sorcerer's Flight toward Startown City. Zhang Tao had once again come to Magic City to keep watch. The 3 of them soared through the air. Looking down at the land, the Battle King sighed with emotion. He chuckled and said, "Back when Startown was built, it was different from now. At that time, there weren't any skyscrapers." With that said, Warlord looked at the plane flying away above his head and smiled again. "I always feel that we've been eliminated by the times. Over the years I spent at Mount Royal Sea, I didn't have much time to come back. Now that I'm back, things are still the same, but people have changed." The War Monarch sighed, softly. Back then, suppressing Star City was probably built with this in mind. No matter how the outside world develops, at the very least, it would leave us a place we're familiar with so that we wouldn't have to leave the catacombs and see the world change. 300 years had passed, and everything was different from before. Fang Ping smiled. After thinking for a while, he asked, "Senior, was it the Heavenly King organization that organized the suppressing Heavenly King when you and the others built Star City?" The War King fell into deep thought. After a while, he said softly, "He was the one who organized it. 300 years ago, the passageway to the catacombs actually opened. However, at that time, we didn't know anything. There were many things we didn't know. We didn't even know who we were or what the catacombs were. Back then, the subduing Heavenly King found us and organized us." After listening for a while, Fang Ping asked curiously, "You were on Earth back then? Not the catacombs?" "It's Earth." Warlord chuckled. "We were all on Earth at the time, not in the catacombs. However, we have no memories, no past, no future. We only have strength, and we don't even know how to control it. We almost caused a disaster. Actually, a lot of times we wonder if we're really human." Fang Ping's expression changed, slightly. The War Monarch smiled again and said, "After all, we are also in the desperate realm. Over the past several hundred years, we actually have some guesses about many things. Perhaps we're just some undying parts of the fallen that have revived, and that's why we lost everything. Did we recover on our own, or were we revived by someone else? These are actually more likely to be man-made." Warlord was in a good conversational mood this time. He looked at Fang Ping and said slowly, "Perhaps some people have guessed that it was the Li family's old geezer who revived us, but in reality, I don't think so. The ones who revived us might be those old antiques from the land of boundaries." Fang Ping's expression changed, but he did not speak. The War Monarch smiled faintly and said, "The possibility is very high. In order to prevent the powerhouses of the catacombs from entering the domain boundary and disturbing their slumber, the old ghosts of the domain boundary revived us. We are actually the gatekeepers of the domain boundary. Perhaps not all of the 13 paragons in Stellar Sky City are like this, but I feel that a portion of them are like this." The War King had a playful look on his face as he grinned and said, "There are still 8 intact domains. So among the 13 of us, at least 8 of us are actually from the domain. We are their gatekeepers. Including me, I am the same. As for me, it is very likely that I came from the Purple Cap Mountain. Back then, I might have been a member of the Purple Cap Mountain, so I revived and began to guard the domain zone, preventing the powerhouses from entering the catacombs. You came from the Purple Cap Mountain? Fong Ping was a little surprised, but also felt that it was natural. Yes, it was very likely that the War Monarch and the others came from the domain boundary. Moreover, the War Monarch had been guarding the Nanjiang catacombs all this time, so the probability of him coming from the Purple Cap Mountain was very high. The War Monarch continued, "We don't know the exact situation of the other few paragons in Stellar Sky City, including the old ghost of the Leaf family. They won't say either. Whether everyone has lost their memories and everything, we have no way of knowing." The War Monarch thought for a while and said, "However, there is one thing that you might also be clear about. It's about that person from the Yang family." The War Monarch took a deep breath and said with a smile, "Now that things have come to this, some things are no longer secrets. We actually have no connection with the domain boundary because we can't enter it. However, the old ghost of the Leaf family once said that when the domain boundary opens, we can return to the domain boundary. Remember, it's going back, not going in. We don't know how he knew, but he might be connected to some of the old antiques in the domain boundary. This is still a possibility. That person from the Yang family hasn't made any progress for many years. Coincidentally, there is a strong pressure in the domain boundary. Perhaps it's the manifestation of a powerhouse's Tao and mentality. Perhaps he couldn't resist the temptation and finally entered the domain boundary himself. He probably wanted to devour or comprehend the other party's Tao of origin and become a top-notch powerhouse among the paragons. Whether this is the case or not, there's no way to determine right now. But the old ghost of the Yang family died in the domain boundary, in the void mausoleum grotto heaven. The War Monarch's gaze was slightly strange. I don't know why this happened. Perhaps the old ghost of the Yang family was greedy and wanted to devour the other party before he died. Perhaps we shouldn't have entered. Perhaps the old ghost of the Yang family discovered some secrets and was killed by the other party. Fong Ping, those fellows in the domain boundary, their thoughts are too complicated. Even the paragons can be killed. Perhaps they borrowed some of the arrangements in the domain boundary to achieve this step. Perhaps the existences in the domain boundary are all very powerful. They might even be the remnants of the most powerful group of people in the domain boundary back then. So they have the capital to kill the paragons. The one from the Yang family isn't considered strong. He's considered weak among the paragons. Entering the other party's territory, being suppressed by the other party and being killed is not surprising. The War Monarch said for a while, then said, "As for the old ghost of the Leaf family, he's either the spokesperson that the domain boundary pushed out, or he's simply one of the overlords." The War Monarch looked pensive. He smiled and said, "It's very likely that he's the spokesperson that the domain boundary pushed out. All of us were organized by him. He knows a lot of things, including some matters about the domain boundary, including our guarding of Mount Imperial Sea. He's the one who told us all about it. Or he's simply one of the overlords who woke up in advance and connected all the major domain boundaries. Perhaps our revival is also led by him. He needs a group of helpers. In short, this matter is very complicated. He won't say anything even when we asked." At this time, Fong Ping interrupted. "Senior, that subduing Heavenly King organized a large family to guard Mount Imperial Sea. Is there anyone who's unwilling?" "Of course there is." The War Monarch revealed a look of reminiscence again. He said slowly, "If a person you've never met suddenly came to you and told you that your responsibility is to guard Mount Imperial Sea, would you agree? Would you agree?" There are many who wouldn't agree, but you don't understand the situation back then. We're a group of people without a past or a future. We were at a loss and didn't know what to do. He told us that it was our responsibility to guard Mount Royal Sea and that we would find out everything, including our pasts, in the end. Should we go to Mount Imperial Sea or not? Some people were unwilling to go, but I have to say that the old ghost of the Leaf family has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. In short, under his instigation and bluffing, we all went to Mount Imperial Sea in the end. Of course, there's a time lag in between. At that time, we've also settled down, married, and had children. We've formed our own clans and families. At this point, the war monarchs side with emotion. A group of people who don't know the past or the future actually have descendants and bloodline connections. That's what they care about the most. The war monarch glanced at little Fatty, who was listening attentively, and chuckled. With the bloodline inheritance, we feel like we're really living like humans and not just passers-by in life. And in this, that person from the Leaf family also played a part. He calculated a lot of things, including our lives. He was the one who guided many things in the dark. With a clan, a bloodline inheritance, and his brainwashing, in short, in the end, everyone went to Mount Imperial Sea. This time, we've boarded a pirate ship. As soon as we go to Mount Imperial Sea, we'll be enemies with the Catacombs' true king. When that time comes, we'll have no way out. Fong Ping asked curiously. At that time, everyone knew it was dangerous. Didn't anyone want to leave? Yes, the war monarch laughed again. Of course. The first time I fought with the Catacombs' true king, I suffered a huge loss. I don't think it's a good deal. I don't want to do it anymore. I'll just disband. I'm a top powerhouse. The world is big. Where can I go? If worst comes to worst, I'll leave the catacombs and find a place to live in seclusion with my family. Why should I suffer in Mount Imperial Sea and risk my life for others? But some things, even though you know this is the case, it's hard to make such a decision. I've said it before. When the Leaf family's old geezer found us, we were all blank. We didn't know anything. He's actually our master. He taught us martial arts and combat techniques. Everything we have was given to us by him. He's also good at bluffing. When we want to disband, he's like a carrot and a stick. The future is beautiful. If we give up now and want to leave, not only will we become enemies with him, but they'll also no longer protect our family and disciples. If you want to leave, you can find a place to hide in the catacombs, or just leave Earth and never come back. If you want to enjoy life on Earth, that won't do. Then you have to work hard. Fong Ping asked doubtfully. They let you stay just like that. It's not just that. The war monarch continued. You should know one thing. When martial artists reach this level, they actually want to go further. No one is willing to stay stagnant. The Leaf family's old geezer tempted us because of this. Do you want to continue improving your strength? Do you want to become stronger? Then continue to guard Mount Imperial Sea. Just like that, as time went by, more than 100 years passed. During this period, we fought with the Catacombs' true king many times. We can be considered to have formed a deadly feud. By that time, there was actually no way to retreat anymore. Some of our family members died at Mount Imperial Sea. I've always suspected that the Leaf family's old geezer did this on purpose. The war monarch said viciously, that fellow was afraid that we would run away, so he wanted us to form a deadly feud with the other party. I've told you, we value our descendants very much. Because we don't have a past life, the existence of the descendants' bloodline allows us to live like humans. My children died in battle. My wife died in battle. How could I not want revenge? The war monarch continued. Also, the wives we married back then were most likely arranged by the Leaf family's old geezer. You also know that we were all noobs in the beginning. What do we know about love? If there's a woman who cares about you and cares for you, how can you not be moved? Where did these women come from? 99% of them were arranged by that old geezer. Of course, knowing is knowing. At that time, we didn't care about these things. Later on, these women died in battle. Humph, maybe it was secretly instigated by the Li family's old geezer, or simply ordered. Fong Ping suddenly sympathized with the war monarch. He said softly, "If that's the case, the heavenly king subduing king actually dictated your senior's fate." "Senior, have you never resented him?" Resented? The war monarch smiled, faintly. "I have, but this old geezer, let me put it this way, he's a little similar to the current Zhang Tao. Let me ask you, do you resent Zhang Tao? Everything we have, most of it was given by him. Some things are hard to explain." Fong Ping pondered for a moment. After a while, he said, "Then what is the heavenly king, subduing king's goal? To protect humanity? To protect the bounded zone? Or something else?" "Who knows?" The war monarch said faintly. "Not only him, there are a few others who may not be the same as us." "What is their goal?" "Who knows?" "I've said, among the 13 paragons, there are probably no more than 10 paragons in the bounded zone. Therefore, the remaining few might have some sort of tacit understanding with old geezer Li. There were a few times we wanted to disband, but old geezer Li wasn't the only one who didn't agree. The remaining 12 of us didn't have the same opinion either. I'm afraid some of them were hired by old geezer Li. Are these the people from different periods that you mentioned, Senior?" "Probably." The war monarch chuckled. "They should be. Anyway, they're older than us. We're just blank sheets of paper. Although there are some changes after a few hundred years, and we have some experience, compared to them, we're still lacking a lot. If that's the case, the heavenly king subduing king should know about the brain nucleus cultivation method, and even the exclusive mentality cultivation method. Why didn't he pass it down?" Fong Ping asked this question. He had been holding this question in for a long time. The war monarch pondered for a moment. Maybe it's a tacit understanding or a rule. Some things in their eyes may not be divulged to outsiders. Of course, we can't rule out the possibility that he doesn't know about it. This old geezer, who knows if he's a resurrected martial artist or someone who's always been alive? If he's a resurrected martial artist, then it's normal that he doesn't know about it. "Senior, why are you willing to tell me so much today?" Fong Ping asked. These peerless martial artists did not like to talk too much. If they asked about some secrets, it would be useless even if they knew. It would only increase the pressure. In short, they did not talk about it. It was as if knowing would have the opposite effect. Just a few days ago, when Fong Ping asked about this, the war monarch did not mention much. Now, however, the war monarch had told him many things. Why? The war monarch laughed. "There's no why. It's not a big secret. Besides, in this day and age, some things are almost public. Do you really think Zhang Tao knows nothing?" "No, he knows a lot of things. Zhang Tao actually knows more than Li Zhan. It's just that he doesn't want to talk about it. Zhang Tao doesn't trust us. He knows some things, but he keeps it in his heart and thinks of ways to solve it himself. Do you know why Zhang Tao improved so quickly? There are many reasons. Don't mention that monster plant. A monster plant shouldn't have made him like this." The war monarch said with a smile, "His secrets are no less than yours. When Zhang Tao was young, he had many great opportunities. He's also entered the bounded domain before." Fong Ping's eyes moved slightly. Zhang Tao had entered the bounded domain before. The war monarch laughed again. "This guy is the #1 person in the new martial arts era. He's the undisputed #1. Not only has he been to the bounded domain before, but he's also been to the Forbidden Sea. He's been to many places, and even obtained opportunities in the Forbidden Sea. This guy, when he was young, he was also not afraid of death. He dared to go anywhere. Do you really think he knows nothing about the Forbidden Zone? Then you're wrong. He's very brave. He's even entered the Forbidden Zone before. He's also been to the War Monarch's land. He's even on good terms with some dynasty and divine sect powerhouses. Do you dare to believe it? The War Monarch laughed. He's been planning this since a long time ago. A long time ago, before he reached the pinnacle, he brought back some catacombs humans from the outer realm to train, from young. When they grew up, this guy sent them back to the outer realm and used it to enter the Forbidden Zone. He even sent them directly to the Imperial Sea Mountain and began to explore the Forbidden Zone. Do you really think he knows nothing about the Forbidden Zone? Then you're wrong. He has many eyes and ears in the Forbidden Zone. Even if some people betrayed him and some people stopped contacting him, there are still many people who are in contact with him. Of course, unless it's a critical moment, otherwise you won't know who his people are. Do you know that before this, the Forbidden Catacombs was the Wuan Army's territory? It was his territory alone. No one was allowed to enter. He actually has a plan in the Forbidden Catacombs. Even the destruction of the Forbidden Catacombs before could be to silence people and destroy evidence. He's been running the Forbidden Catacombs for so many years. How could he not have any backup plans? This guy is very sinister. Even the Li family's old geezer once said that Zhang Taosheng was born in the wrong era. If it was another era, this guy might even have the hope of becoming an emperor. Fang Ping frowned slightly. Minister, it's not wrong to plan ahead and make some preparations. But it shouldn't be too useful, right? Even if he sends some people into the Forbidden Zone, I'm afraid they'll only be at the Origin Dao realm at most. They won't be able to play a key role. The War Monarch sneered and said lightly, "How do you know it won't be useful? Everything is possible. Also, don't underestimate Zhang Tao. This guy's ability to bewitch people is not small. Others aside, among the catacombs' true kings, he might have allies." Huh. Fang Ping was shocked. How was that possible? Don't look at me like that. The War Monarch grinned. There might be. He didn't oversee Mount Imperial Sea, but he would often patrol it. He had seen many true kings. Some had fought with him. Some had come into contact with him, and some had even talked and laughed with him, drinking and discussing the Tao with him. Don't think that all the catacombs' true kings are bent on invading the human world. Do some weak paragons really want to invade the human world? That might not be the case. If Zhang Tao bewitched them a little, he might gain something. The War Monarch said. Seeing Jiang Chao and Fang Ping's dumbfounded expressions, he continued with a smile, "Let's put it this way. About 7 or 8 years ago, Zhang Tao seemed to have gone to the Forbidden Sea once. At that time, there were also catacombs' true kings who went to the Forbidden Sea. We don't know the specifics. The only thing we know is that those true kings who returned that time did not appear in the Mount Royal Sea region again. Nobody knows what happened in between. You're saying that he reached an agreement with those true kings? The possibility is very high." The warlord smiled again and said, "So don't underestimate Zhang Tao. To be honest, even if an all-out war broke out now, the humans might still have a chance of winning. This guy said that the human race was in danger, but was it really in danger? Not only him, but also the Li family's old devil. Let's put it this way. In the past 1,000 years, there have been 3 human leaders, all of whom came from China. Demon Emperor Unquestionable Jian, Heavenly King Li Xuanxia, Martial King Zhang Tao. Unquestionable Sword might not be able to compare to these two. Unquestionable Sword could not be considered to have created an era, but these two did. Although the new martial era was founded by Shun and Chun, it was Zhang Tao who really brought the new martial era to glory. He is the soul and core of the new martial era, and also the most outstanding genius of this era. Fong Ping's eyebrows twitched slightly. He asked again, Senior, you first told me about Star Town, and now you're talking about Minister Zhang. What do you want to tell me? The warlord chuckled and said, Nothing. I just want to tell you that everyone has their own plans. Everyone's goal was the same, and that was to survive the crisis before them. But what about after the crisis? Also, the racial crisis this time is not just a racial crisis. There are also some messy factors entangled in it. It may also involve some ancient powerhouses schemes. In short, if you don't want to be a pawn, then be a player. And this requires strength and influence. You improving MCMEU's strength is actually the right thing to do. If MCMEU has a few paragons, then when the crisis comes, there will still be people who can be trusted. And this time is actually an opportunity. The warlord narrowed his eyes and said, This time, after taking down Magic City's catacombs, MCMEU will run the catacombs. Not just the catacombs, but also the bounded domain. Fong Ping, this time the timing is just right. I am guarding Magic City's catacombs. At the critical moment, if there is a chance, if there is really an old devil still alive in the bounded domain, it is best to cooperate. If not, think of a way to get rid of the other party. Seize the bounded domain, find a way out for MCMEU, and also a way out for the Jiang family's descendants. The bounded domain is very dangerous. Even paragons have the risk of dying if they go in. Unless it is absolutely necessary, paragons will not go in. However, if we can seize the bounded domain, then we can attack and defend at will. We will have a real foothold. At this point, the warlord finally revealed his purpose. Fong Ping was a little surprised. After a while, he said, Senior, what you mean is you and I will cooperate? No, the Jiang family and MCMEU will cooperate? The warlord grinned and said, Can't I? I don't have this qualification. Since everyone has their own plans, then let's plan and plan too. The MCMEU of the past naturally did not have this qualification and was not worthy of my attention. But now that's hard to say. Kid, not only the Jiang family, but also the Su family. My relationship with Old Devil Su is quite good. Old Devil Su is also a top-notch powerhouse among the paragons, not weaker than me. Let's think of a way out together. As for whether we can use it or not, we'll talk about it later. But we can't put all our hopes on others, the warlord continued. There's one more thing. The situation in the bounded domain is complicated. It's not just the benefits that you see, those are all on the surface. The bounded domain has always been raising the demon race, not just those inside the bounded domain, but also those in the Forbidden Sea. The warlord said softly, Most of the demons in the bounded domain will enter the Forbidden Sea when they reach rank 9. These demons have always relied on the energy provided by the bounded domain to survive, including those imperishable substances. Fong Ping, do you really think that the forbidden energy boundary at the periphery of the bounded domain is an accident? No, maybe it's intentional. At a specific time, the energy tide erupts, raising these demons. The demons in the bounded domain and the Forbidden Sea are not very intelligent. At critical moments, they may be controlled by the bounded domain. The warlord said playfully, Maybe when the bounded domain is revived, those old antiques will come out of seclusion. They may not have any disciples, but a group of powerful demons may appear under their command. That's hard to say. Also, who says that the bounded domain must not have any disciples? Did they really die in battle? Not necessarily. How many of the bounded domain have you been to? How many places have you been to? In the Lake of Eternal, are there really only revived antiques? When the time comes, it's not impossible for a group of powerhouses to emerge. What I'm saying is to tell you, when it's time to leave a backup plan, you still have to. Don't become a loner in the end. Fong Ping did not utter a word, but he was thinking a lot in his heart. Today's warlord was slightly different from the careless, outspoken Fong Ping's impression of him. However, taking down a bounded domain might really be necessary. The bounded domain was very dangerous, but once the bounded domain could be controlled, it would be the safest area. Over there, even the Paragon could face the danger of falling. In normal times, the strongest that entered were only rank 9. If they could really turn the bounded domain into MCMAU's backyard, maybe there would be a pleasant surprise. 9 Heavens Divine Emperor, that you're tuning in to the Mystic Fist YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.